everyone, welcome to the Engage Monthly Cup number 1. I'm here with Lobo to bring you guys all the action for today. We have a very exciting event. 8 teams that have qualified through various events and points have come together to really find out who is the best of the best. But before then, let's start off with my fellow caster here, Lobo. We're going to have Tins joining us in a bit. But first of all, how are you doing today, Lobo?
Mate, it has been a long day. It has been a long weekend for both of us, but we're finishing it off in a spectacular fashion with a very unique tournament being put on by Engage, the monthlies. Like you said, lots of really exciting invited teams from the India region. So I'm really excited to see them play. It's been a while since we've been on this side of the world. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what these teams have in store for us and how they are going to adapt to this new meta that has just brought us, the absolute break meta, I think it's called. That was the recent patch. So how are your thoughts about it? What based on everything we've seen so far?
Well, it has absolutely broken the competitive scene right now. But before then, let's quickly show everyone how some of these teams have qualified. So there are basically events such as the weeklies and the Challenger Cup that these teams that have won have qualified for today. But the other way people can qualify is through the Engage Points leaderboard. Now, this gets accumulated by your team's performance in the various events that Engage hosts. And as you can see, the top 4 teams are Velixum, MQ25, Autobots Esports, and Helichos. Now, Velixum, we'll find out, has also qualified through another event. So the 3 teams that have, been invited to today's event through the leaderboard are going to be MQ25, Autobots Esports, and Helichos.
Yeah, that's great to see these 4 teams so strong, accumulating points throughout the season. I actually like this. We were talking backstage. It's a kind of akin to the championship point system that we already got over in the UCS. But we're going to have a look now at the total amount of teams that are going to be participating and the methods in which they managed to get through. As you can see, Velixum is on the top side, but they have managed to be invited to this tournament by actually winning an Engage Weeklies that's run every single week. So it is the other teams, MQ25, Autobots, and Helichos, that came through to this monthly's tournament through the Engage points. And as you can see, Velixum, Go Figure, and India Elite plus Tempest were the teams that qualified through winning Engage Weeklies over here. And we also have one more team for Absolute Circus managing to qualify through the Challengers Cup. So interesting how many ways there are to qualify for these India monthlies.
Yeah, so definitely these are the teams to watch that have proven themselves in the previous events. But I think today, it is all where it comes down. Who will come out on top out of these top 8? On top of getting the bragging rights of winning such a prestigious event, you also get 50 USD apparently to the winning team. So, that's also a big bit of a reward for these players, whether to go to Holowares or to bit of gem, just, get a meal out for your teammates, regardless of what I'm very excited for. As you mentioned before, is seeing these teams clash together in a meta that has been shifted a lot, right, in the last kind of like 1 to 2 weeks.
But we're going to have a look now at the bracket. Check this out. Round 1 has already gone through with Team Velixum, Helichos, Absolute Circus, India Elite, Go Figure, Autobots, Esports, and Tempest. You can see our teams there through the round 1 and the losers round 1. Team Velixum and Absolute Circus going head-to-head in round number 2. And we are going to be watching, I believe it is Go Figure versus MQ25 going on in round 2 as well. Super exciting to see that. But all the teams vying for a spot in that grand finals. Farouk, do you want to tell us the best of 3s, the best of 1s, and what kind of games these guys have to fight through to get to those grand finals?
Yeah, so the format for today's event is going to be your best of 3 leading up to the grand finals, which is going to be a best of 5, folks. And with the losers bracket also being a thing, and since it's a double elim, we'll have best of 1s going out in the losers section for these teams. So kind of make their way in and maybe, buy another invite into the grand finals. Once they get there, the team that came from the winners bracket will have a 1-game advantage in the best of 5. So for them, the first bit is going to be a best of 3, as they only need to win 2 games to win. But, work is cut out for the team coming out from the losers, as they're going to have to win 3 games in order to take out the title. So that is to come, and I hope everyone at home has plenty of water and snacks or whatever drinks you're drinking, because it's going to be a great night of action. And with Lobo and I casting the start of this event, I can't wait to see what Go Figure and MQ25 get up to today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just before we get heading on into that, Engage is not done yet. This is all leading up to next weekend's big tournament, the Pro Test Series number 7. Now, this is going to be a whole bunch of invited teams from all over the Asia region. We were told it's kind of like a pre-ACL kind of tournament there. We've got Seoul A Esports being invited, as well as a number of top teams all over. And check out that prize money for 100 USD taking place over 2 days. Man, I am super excited about that. A pre-ACL before we get to the ACL with some of these incredible teams, mate. One weekend fully unite, another weekend fully unite. We are super blessed here with all this top-notch competition going on.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think India's one of my favorite regions to watch, just because the amount of teams that sign up and participate in all the grassroots tournaments, apart from the official ones as well, really just means that, there are definitely players, even esport orgs, are looking to kind of make an impact and kind of carve their legacy in these seasons. We're going to head right into the game here. We got MQ25. I think that's the set that we have against, if I'm correct, your Go Figure. And I think, looking at the name so far, not too sure which is on which. I'm not too familiar, but as we get that updated for you guys, we'll talk about the bans first. Psyduck Mimikyu coming out from the purple side, and Gengar, perhaps Absol, will be running off the banjo.
I mean, we've seen this so far all the way through. Only one speedster banned out, which means those 3 other speedsters that got that extra buff in this patch are going to be on the board. Umbreon, a kind of classic ban that you want to go up against any speedsters, being able, that the resurgence of Mean Look coming through. But Kai is going to insta-lock Absol first pick, and Paria is looking in on that Brave Bird Talonflame. But all 3 speedsters picked straight off the bat, Fu.
Yeah, make it all 4, I think, as Nightmare is looking to lock in that Leafeon for their team. Let's see whether they actually settle on with it. Both teams starting off very, very squishy. Seems like Nightmare has the same thought as what I have, and picks up the Hooper instead for Legend, and double supporter now. This is something I've never seen before in my time of casting, with a Absol double supporter trio to start off their draft. What do you think about that?
Mate, it's going to be even more interesting if we're going to see the Trick Hooper come out as well, with Tragedy probably locking in on wants to stay on top of Absol. We are just being told that purple side is Go Figure and MQ is on the orange side. But MQ is also going to lock in Blissey and Snorlax. Now, Snorlax is probably one of the more prominent defenders that have come to the forefront in this patch. I really like it. Block, Flail being used to great effect, but also Heavy Slam, Yawn. This Pokemon is so versatile, don't you think? But Zacian can be picked off, and Tita, of all things.
Yeah, this is a super random from my point of view, but I do understand, with Comfey, it will set this Tita up very, very well. The hardest part of it is going to be that early game, right? Trying to nurture this little Larvitar into that Tyranitar at that level 7 mark where it has access to its Unite move. But the good news is Zacian, Hooper, and Absol are great early game Pokemon. Now, I'm going to quickly look at what MQ25 has come through with their draft. Obviously, your double speed sister headed up, but I think the Ceruledge is actually a very interesting pick here. If they can access the Hooper in this case, they are going to be able to shut down a lot of the portals or the healing, or even the trick available for this Absol to come in and out. So definitely going to be watching what Arjun does and the targets that he's going to pick up with his Unite.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm also interested to see how Operator is actually going to operate in that Snorlax kind of in that role, the defender role, pushing and pulling, or just causing a lot of hindrance for the side of Go Figure. But Talonflame and Meowscarada's roles are pretty set in stone. They want to make sure that they're causing as much damage. We know how devastating Brave Bird can be, especially when you get to that level 13. We've talked about it, I think, over and over. But Meowscarada is an interesting one with two very viable movesets. I love the trickery that you're able to get with the Shadow Clone. So it's really on the onus of Meowscarada to really cause as much confusion as they can, really bait out the moves of Tyranitar, of Zacian as well, to make sure that MQ is able to just kind of put on as much damage as they can. But game number one, drafts are very interesting. Zacian, Tyranitar. I have not seen Tyranitar in a hot minute, but I'm interested to see how it plays into this speedster composition, because it might be one of those Pokemon that we talked about. It needs a little bit more bulk to actually survive and actually get some damage off on those speedsters.
I'm actually going to be interested to see whether Legend goes for the Sweet Kiss as well, because if they have the Portal, for example, instead of going Trick on the Hooper, there is a huge argument here for Sweet Kiss, because you are going to be able to grab and stun out both the Speedsters and also the Cerulege coming out from NQ, and if they can do that, Tyranitar, this is a great time for them to use their Unite move, or even just their normal stand tune to kind of like take them down, right? When you're seizing into that Sacred Sword, even with the Zacian, this provides such a good focal point for them to deal and collapse the damage on. And I think, obviously, having the the Zacian Unite move, the Sovereign Sword, is going to be a decent secure against the Talent Flame, perhaps, if it does get to the rip. But, on paper, I'm pretty sure Go Figure is looking for more of a team fight, wipe out the enemy team, and then secure the Rayquaza.
No, I agree with you. It feels like the Unite moves on the side of Go Figure do stack very, very nicely. Again, when it comes to MQ, we have to see just how well those speedsters are able to stack, because that late game, when that Tyranitar is really going to start rampaging all over the map, is when they're going to have to worry about. But we're already at those 850 birds as the purple side, Absol is on a hunt with Zacian getting KO Sugar 2.
Yeah, an immediate KO now, and I'm just looking at the map rotation so far. It does seem like Absol with the Comfey is going to be looking for more, and I really like this play. Able to starve out your enemy from the get-go, knowing that you've done the ambush very, very well, knowing that your enemy is on the back foot, and if you can continue taking away their buffs, this Fletchinder is going to have a tough job.
Bot side, there's stacks coming in. Absol is here with a comfy necklace, but Meowscarada was trying to retreat inside that bush, but got stopped 48 to 46 quite early. Heading to these middle Altarias, Fletchinder, Snorlax, and the rest of MQ are heading there, and Absol is just waiting there for the rest of his team to turn up.
And they're definitely just waiting for the team to collapse in for these 8-minute birds that have just disappeared in front of us. Another skirmish and another brawl will start with the Comfey Absol coming through, running through the enemy. Zacian picking up the Fletchinder, the Absol looking for more. Sunflower has to back onto the pad away from the onslaught that Absol is having. And I'm really scared for MQ here, because they're not going to be able to have enough damage to take down this Absol before they get their Unite move. And Absol, look at this, level 8, almost level 9. It's going to be a huge advantage going into this 7-minute birds and 7-minute objectives at the basement.
Yeah, as soon as they start up, we're going to see who's going to try and secure them up. It is 3v3, but inside this top path, Zacian going off it with that Metal Claw moveset, and Cerulege just has to back on out. It's still pretty even across the board, most of those fighting going on in that bot pad, but let's see if Tyranitar gets in here to get that 30 score, get that Tyranitar as early as possible.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to do that, seeing that they have the numbers advantage against the Cerulege. Any sort of stack would be also good, but, I mean, Arjun's doing a fantastic job to fend off both members away from the score. The Phantom Force able to dodge the damage and stay in the fight here, and they might be looking for a steal. Not too sure what they are intending. However, without the Unite move, it's going to be a little bit hard against the Sacred Sword, I think. Oh, they do it anyway!
Managing to, as Cerulege managed to secure that, but still, this Regice has not been taken through, but it seems like a Go Figure wants to take this for themselves, but Snorlax is here, heavy slam in. Think who's going to go for the secure, but it is Meowscarada that gets with the Flower Trick.
Yeah, Flower Trick is a great way to secure, especially against the Zacian even, but with the Zacian being on upstairs, it definitely was favored for MQ25. We're going to be heading into the central area now. Is going to be MQ looking to see whether they can continue and kind of respond to the aggression that the Absol had at the start. Do have the Bliss assistance going onto the Talonflame as we port forward up in that top path, and it seems like the Absol might be caught between a rock and a hard place. They will get taken down, and I think the Comfey will probably get taken down as well. Big scores coming in from MQ. They get a 37, but the pad is still available, Lobo.
Yeah, look, that pad is still on 37. Beautiful Flame Sweep gets caught by Tyranitar, and MQ are going to come back into this with Tyranitar raging and Zacian with a KO streak of 3. They might have a chance to counter score and make that scoreline a little bit more even, Fu.
They are definitely trying to do that with a Snorlax doing the best to block away the Metal Claw coming from Zacian, but with a fully fledged Tyranitar and going on that tyrannical rampage, this might be a hard task to do that. Able to do some true damage and take people down in that execute time. The Revenant Ren actually doesn't connect because the Snorlax pushed them all out, so bit of a lack of synergy there, and this actually enables this T-Tar to get out of there.
Communication is something that you need to when you're going in a 5v5 team fight. Snorlax does a great job of pushing and pulling, but making sure that Revenant Ren hits is probably one of the more important things I think that's going to be discussed on those comms. We've just hit that 5-minute mark for, and I think these teams are looking at each other, just trying to back each other off, because those yellow dots on the map are super important. 85 to 130, and it looks like MQ are just going to go for this top. Reguleki completely unevaded by Zacian versus Cerulege in that top part.
Yeah, we do have a KO streak of 2 now loading up for the Absol, but Talonflame will be able to take out the Zacian as a trade. Flora Flourish has to eject onto the Regieleki to do some damage, but we have Fly on your side. It is a great secure potential and very favorite for your team. T-Tar going down, another raid boss deleted, and we do have an opportunity now for MQ25 to get some scores in, maybe break this pad, at least push the Regieleki in.
One raid boss down, but there's 2 more with Zacian and Absol. Bliss assistance comes out. I think these teams just want to keep fighting out because that Regieleki is only at half HP, bro.
Yeah, they're trying to make the best out of this, but with the Tyrantars coming back in, it might be a little bit hard to do so. People are running out of gas on the side of MQ, and go figures, you know, takes down the Snorlax, probably understands this is a good time to push back. These teams are in this tug of war, but with the Revenant Ren to come through, it does deal a decent amount of damage. Now, with the Absol at level 13, a Comfey by its side, with the score to avoid the fly, this is a great time for your Absol to go through and run off a KO streak of 4. Finally shut down by Talonflame and all that XP available for them. And, you know, Talonflame's now 13, so pretty good value for the for MQL. For MQ25,
they were able to run off that 4K streak, but they were not able to run away from a Talonflame. But that comeback experience, like we talk about, it is the 3-minute mark. Let's have a look at these levels. A level 14 Absol going down there, like you mentioned, for not exactly something you want to witness, but Hooper is just going to send themselves back, try to get as much experience and farm as possible. Level 14 Talonflame, level 12 and 12 Cerulege. Meowscarada, level 13 Zacian, but only a level 11 T-Tar, maybe for the next 40 seconds. T-Tar wants to just farm up, but they've got a little bit of an engage going on inside that bottom path, but Zacian securing that Regirock, and Hooper just making itself a little bit of a nuisance for Cerulege.
They are trying to kind of bait out some moves as well as this Meowscarada sending the double teams in. But as we get set up for the final stretch here, we do have 20 seconds before that happens. A bit of a early bit of poke coming out from the Absol as well, but I think the main fight here is going to be this Rayquaza. They are not going to be too different in terms of the points. However, looking at the levels, I do see only a level 12 Tyranitar, which I think it's probably taking this time to hit that level 13 before it actually engages in the fight.
Yeah, look, Rayquaza has spawned. Let's see if these teams take it a little bit easy, but we know that these guys have been fighting it out all game. Tyranitar looking to go in for an engage really quickly, finds a target, and Absol's trying to find a target on the Cerulege and Talonflame.
Oh, the Talonflame has to fly to try to get a good pick on this Absol. A nice little eject, but just not enough oomph to actually take this down, especially seeing the Comfey is kind of like a focus band that's been there entirely. The Tyranitar now the only member kind of in the pit, followed by the Hooper. We do have Tragedy, just making sure the portals are available just in case someone like a Snorlax jumps in. Snorlax probably looking to cancel the portal with this heavy slam, but didn't time it too well. We have another random fight this bottom path away from Rayquaza Pit, and we got the Floral Flourish, the Snorlax snapping, and also the Masquerada going through with it, and the Revenant Ren will unlock onto the Tyranitar, enraging into the Rampage, and they're gonna not actually fight, they're gonna go into the Rayquaza Pit and maybe start off the Dragon themselves with not a lot of impact coming out from that, and 2 members down. It's actually going to be MQ25 looking for the flip there. The Talonflame Fly comes down a little bit too early, and it's no tragedy for Tragedy because they are able to secure that Rayquaza and come back from seemingly a terrible fight from them.
Oh, they took that fight early with Absol having to pop its Unite move, but they went down in quick succession. But again, Tyranitar never misjudged the raging dinosaur, especially when it's backed by a Comfy. But although it was Hooper in that Unbound form that managed to secure that, Hundo Burgers are raining on in. And go figure, from seemingly a defeated position at a Rayquaza fight, going down by 2 to 3 members, have come back to win this game 1. Nice fights, nice exciting action for this game 1, right, bro?
Definitely a great way to start off today's broadcast, and I think MQ25 needs to find a way to kind of fight that Rayquaza fight a little bit better. I think it's definitely a tug of war throughout the 8 minutes, don't get me wrong. A bit of brawling on this side, chaos for both these teams, but at the end of the day, if you're looking at on paper, having a Tyranitar hit that level 13 with a Comfey as well just meant it was such a hard Pokemon to take down. And that's something, obviously MQ25 needs to take into account of. But I'm not going to lie, this is the first time I've seen Tyranitar in a while, and it definitely worked out for the team.
Oh, it 100% worked out. But look also what worked out for their team with Kai hitting 143k damage just with a Comfy attached to an Absol that's already been buffed in this meta. It kind of goes crazy that time around. But you know what? It wasn't too far off from the side of MQ25. They had that Ray fight almost won. Needed to take down the Tyranitar and the Comfy left. Unfortunately, and as well as the Hooper coming in with Tragedy, definitely causing some tragic moments for the side of MQ25. But again, we're only at game 1. I can't wait to see what's going on in game 2. But we didn't really have a quick chance to talk about this, but the bans, Psyduck, Mimikyu, Gengar, Umbreon. Mimikyu feels like a target ban, especially with this speedster meta going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Mimikyu isn't really as good as a pick as some of the other anti-speedsters, but it depends region to region, right? Like, we saw in some of the OC finals today with DC picking up that Mimikyu, but in my honest opinion, some of the more problematic Pokemon are probably going to be that Goodra, that Snorlax. Even Umbreon could be quite problematic for speedsters as well. But I think the highlight of this game, apart from the Hooper secure on that Rayquaza, was really the amount of aggression the Absol was able to play today. From the get-go, not really letting the enemy breathe at all, right? And obviously the Rayquaza fight, they probably didn't play as well getting knocked out there. But when you have a Comfy by your side, it allows you to play way more aggressively. It allows you to make some of the fights easier on your side because when times gets tough, you do have that additional healing. So a big shout out to Kai dropping nearly 40% of the team's damage. I do anticipate them doing something like that in the second game.
Yeah, I agree. Unless that Absol decides to get banned out, Tyranitar was a very interesting pick here. But I think with the aggressiveness that Go Figure had in that game, we didn't really see Pupitar struggle to get that evolution. And I think that's what really turned the tides. We go again into this Ray fight. Tyranitar going on that rampage with a Comfy surround. There goes the roll call from Hooper, but unfortunately the rest of the team were out. But there you go, waiting to chuck that beam down and really manage to secure that race. So great patience shown alongside the aggression, I want to say, from the side of Go Figure. I want to see more of that. We love seeing aggressive teams, but also seeing teams that know really when to throw those moves and really when to aim for it is, I think, the highlight of that game. So beautiful secure by Tragedy. Let's see if they can cause more tragic moments for the side of MQ25.
Yeah, I think just it was a decent decision to rip the Rayquaza. Seemingly, the Absol and also the Zacian were knocked out. And I think definitely credit where credit is due for MQ25. They've played exceptionally well in that Rayquaza fight to kind of isolate, pull the fight away from the Rayquaza pit, maybe where the Hooper wasn't able to help them out. And, yes, you lost a secure to Hooper that you probably shouldn't, but I think the lesson they can take from that is they are able to stand up to go figure in those Rayquaza fights, and if they're just a little bit better with the timing of the secure, that game should have been them to win.
No, I agree with you, but I think something that we are kind of understanding here is that 3 speedsters got let through in that draft. Usually we're used to seeing at least 2 of them banned off. So, but Absol, Meowscarada, and Talonflame both let out. Absol definitely the highlight of that game. I wonder if that's going to be the same thing or if we're going to see something different. I guess we don't have to speculate for very long. Gengar is first up on the chopping block along with Psyduck.
Yeah, we do have a switch of the size as well, important to mention. For those folks watching at home, that means MQ25 gets the first pick on what speeds that they want. They are going to be banning both the Absol and the Gengar, though. So Talonflame and Meowscarada will be onto the board unless Beast bans it. So does seem like the only Pokemon left is going to be the Talonflame. And if Sunflower doesn't pick it up for the team, I'm going to be very, very surprised.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they did. And there it is. I do believe MQ25 are going to continue on with that Talonflame. But this leaves 2 picks open. We talked about it previously, that orange side, it now seems the more prioritized side to pick because you get those 2 picks, because now it's almost automatically assumed that that first pick is going to go to a speedster. I'm interested to see what Kai is going to play now that that Absol has been taken off the board. But there it goes. The Mimikyu once again, maybe that target ban from Kai in that first game.
Yeah, I don't actually like Mimikyu into Talonflame. I feel like if you are a decent Talonflame player, you are going to be able to make the Mimikyu's life especially hard to actually lock onto you. I think Lax would have been a great pick for Team Go Figure. Not sure whether they actually play it. I think it was going to be MQ25 that had the Lax there against the Hooper, if I'm correct. But Operator, seeing that Umbreon is let free this game, will be able to pick it up with the Blissey as well. I do have to say, though, in terms of the prioritization of your defenders, Umbreon is still up there with your Snorlax as well. But from now, it seems like you Go Figure aren't even going to be looking for your defender at all. They're just going to go for the 2 double all-rounders first. And they're going to lock in with your Comfey Hooper yet again. So I'm curious to see what Beast actually picks here, whether it's going to have a return of that T-Tar.
It is interesting, but Beast is hovering over another Beast inside that Aegislash and that Darkrai as well. I want to point out that Buzzwole and Pikachu were picked as well. Pikachu, great for really locking down, but also providing that extra area damage with that Thunderbolt combination, the Mage build, as we like to call it. Arjun picking up the big Swole Bug, really going to try and slam as many things as they can down. And hopefully that's going to come in conjunction with Talonflame, because a lot of combination plays now open up between this team. So, but Darkrai, a problem in its own, being able to put a little bit of extra CC, make sure Mimikyu and Serena are able to do what they can do, just brawl and brawl and brawl. Hooper we saw with that hyperspace hole moveset before. So a lot of abundance of healing and resets for them as well. So interesting team matches on paper. Got to ask you, as we see this one on paper, where do you give the advantage to?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit hard. I mean, the team that, I guess in this case, Go Figure, right, it's not that tanky compared to something like what MQ25 has brought to the table with the Umbreon Blissey and also the Buzzwole. I do want to talk about the Pikachu pick by Sunflower, though. Maybe it's a little bit too negative, but in my opinion, Pikachu is not as good of a pick if they're looking for an attacker as Espeon. Pikachu does not have any mobility possible. Volt Tackle is quite hard here, right? Think about the matchups into Mimikyu, into Serena, and into Darkrai as well. Whereas Espeon provides mobility with Store Power. It provides your ability to get out of Darkrai's ult with your passive as well. And worst comes to worst, if people are diving at you, you're going to be able to use your Unite move to kind of hold them in place for your team to kind of collapse on. So I'm very curious to see how Sunflower will actually play this. Hopefully they play more of the ranged attacker Pikachu. But yet again, you have to land your moves on Pokemon that can move quite fast, such as the dashes from Darkrai, the Mimikyu play rough, which is invincible. And also, your Trop Kick, your Stomp from your Serena, which is going to be very hard to catch with your Thunderbolt.
I agree with you, but look at this. We've got an aggressive push here from Blissey Buzzwell inside that top path that we're usually seeing. Mimikyu's just going to avoid all of the trouble and head around to get to some stacks as Fletchling and Serena in that top path gets caught with the Electro Web. Hooper in a little bit of problem, but managing to just get back to their pad. Such aggression from both of these teams straight up, and I think they haven't realized that it's just the first game of the tournament, second game of the tournament, but I'm loving how aggressive they are.
Yeah, they're looking to kind of make that statement, right, in this game. Tragedy has popped their full heal trying to get out of it, but Beast might not be so lucky as we're going to get run down by Sunflower in the early portion of this game. Tragedy just able to get out in the skin of the teeth, and here comes Kai, ready to help out there. This team reminds me kind of Team Lelovers, where they had, a central area Serena, right? And let's see whether they can do the same thing.
Inside this top path, we got a 3v2 situation. Comfy is here, Mimikyu is here. Mimikyu just gets picked up and slammed, and that is why you pick the big bobs, the big swole bug, as that is a 2 KO streak heading on in. They're going to get their stacks, but inside that bottom path, Serena is here, spinning to win with that triple axle, and go figure, doing exactly what happened to them inside that top path by MKO. So trading nicely across both paths.
I think it's something that's really popular right now isn't really ambushing the same path. They kind of guess and kind of decide which path they want, and they're not scared to trade out some of these paths. We have the Fly coming through, able to chunk out so much of Nightmare, and I think, Para being here with the Blissey really makes it aggressive.
I agree. Like, again, you saw the Fly was just able to time out that play rough and really make sure that they get the KO. But heading on into these middle Ataris, Buzzwell's just going to hope as he soak them all up. Fly is here, hits, lands, but not managed to get a KO because of the Hooper reset. Great timing on that hyperspace hole.
We do have Serena still in the tier 1 pad of MQ25. They're going to get punished for that, and so will the Hooper. KO streak of 2 for Pyra, and it's going to be up to the Darkrai here, Lobo, to defend against 4 members.
No, gets caught by the mean look into the Fly, gets damaged and eviscerated. Set back to Nurse Joy. That's a hard task, anyone, and no matter what Pokemon you're on, 4v1, even on your own pad.
And I think this is what we talked about before, how Umbreon provides such a great counter towards the speedsters. And maybe I understand the Pikachu pick, because if they can never get to the backline because of Mean Look, this provides a good focused circle, right, for them to land their Pikachu moves.
5 seconds until these both objectives spawns. It looks like Reggie Elective is the objective of choice. Hooper Highway is going to try and bring up Serena as well to make it a 4v5 situation. Fly goes in. Darkrai gets chunked for a big amount of damage. Serena is triple axling anything that moves. Takes down the Umbreon. Fly is here. Player off onto the Buzzwole. So, Talonflame able to pick up a KO. A 2 KO streak. Hooper gets taken down, but there's still 3 members of Go Figure up here, and I think MQ25 are just going to let this one go. Blissey might have something to say about it.
Yeah, we've seen Blissey secure Regis before, but I think here what's more important is to stay close to your team and help out with your safeguard. And as the teams are going to be snowballing from side of Go Figure, it does seem like it has a great impact. At least, for this Regieleki purposes, it will walk in, and nice little mathematics will be able to provide 39 overdunk, and that sends them to a score of 168. And I think Go Figure, they're feeling it right now. They've got the level advantage back on their side, and they've got a couple of Unite moves as well.
Yeah, look, it is interesting. We see Mimikyu here is now just entering that enemy team's central area, trying to deny as much farm from MQ25 as possible. 122 to 168. Getting a few more stacks in. Mean Look not going to stop the Serena, but player off onto the Blissey. We got an skirmish inside the central area. MQ25 taking offense to Mimikyu, helping themselves to their farm, but this objective down the bottom gets taken by Go Figure. Nice buff for the Registeel.
Registeel for Go Figure on already a team that is snowballing. It's a scary thought for MQ25, but Talonflame did try to get a score in, but with the Worst Nightmare being applied, they are going to be able to try to escape the ordeal. You can see kind of a weird scene here with the Worst Nightmare still available, but now the Talonflame still flying as well. So not too sure what we score on the screen so far, but I think they have changed the way Worst Nightmare works. You're not in that void anymore. You're still in the map, except you can't actually hit anyone apart from the Darkrai.
That makes a lot of sense because I was very confused as to what happened. We see Kai here just with that Comfy necklace, but Talonflame is here. They're going to try and trap kick their way out. Does not matter. Gets caught by 4 members. Comfy's going to pop the Unite move as well, but Darkrai is here. Umbreon Unite. Finally, Kai gets taken down. Hooper has called roll. Everyone to the center, to the basement path. I mean, Mimikyu is here and Hooper is stunning everything, but gets caught with a Volt Tackle. No, that was actually onto the farm. Mimikyu goes in, but gets caught in the mean look, but does not matter. Play rough and Shadow Sneak picking up some nice KOs with the assistance of the Unbound Hooper.
They definitely are going to be able to do some damage with the Unbound Hooper there, as the Arjun will become here to kind of make a difference with your slams, as the Ultra Soul Slam will be able to land and knock out the Hooper, but they get knocked out themselves from Darkrai, and it seems like both these teams are fighting for more. Comfy just managed to lock onto the Nightmare here, but gets taken down. It's going to be the Mimikyu.
The Thunderstorm doing such big amounts of damage with the Helping Hand, allowing Pikachu to escape. Go figure, want to push this pad. I don't think they have the resources left. They've used as many as they can, countered by MQ5 using Unite moves as well, but they're back now 122 to 228 as we head closer. We've just passed the 4 minutes. There's a lot of yellow dots on that map. I think they just need to start farming it up. But this combination play with Comfy being able to either jump onto the Hooper or onto the onto the Serena or onto the Mimikyu is proving to be a very, very good strategy for Go Figure right now.
Yeah, Go Figure still having the lead with the points, and double level 13s as well, as opposed to not a single 13 on the side. A fight continues once again, so Hooper will unite. It's just Lobo. The amount of fighting going on. There's so much yellow dots on the screen for MQ25, but they don't want any piece of it. They'd rather take each other down.
Yeah, why farm the yellow dots when you can farm the red ones? Hooper is still unbound. Roll call is there. Darkrai picking up a KO on the Umbreon Buzzwole. He's going to try and slam Serena into its own teammates. Going to get reset by the Hooper portal. And now everyone just gets out scot-free, increasing that level lead as well as that points lead by just a little bit. Very unorthodox Hooper pull there. I wonder if they're going to get that back before Rayquaza. But a Registeel is a good way to ensure they have a buff going into the latter stages of this game.
They will have one of the strongest buffs you can have, right? And with that 90 seconds being the buff applied, that's going to apply in the final stretch of this game, giving them definitely a damage buff. And, even just the side of MQ25, this is a kind of a scary premise to go into. Well, we've seen them win games before, and let's see whether they can actually take down the Titan that is Go Figure. First game, they should have won with the Rayquaza fight. Let's see whether they can have more of a convincing Rayquaza wipe here as we head into the Rayquaza pit. Both teams trying to get some positioning, but it's going to be kind of like the opposite side, right? You got Go Figure more on that top side. Maybe the Mimikyu's looking for a flank as they come down here. Both teams trying to get some vision. I do want to see, though, who Blissey will unite then, where they can, stop Darkrai from running to the team with a Unite move.
But Mimikyu's going for a back cap. All the while, Comfy Unite move into the Thunderstorm. Go Figure have gone in, but they are dropping. Serena and Comfy both get taken out. KO streak of 2. Darkrai is there, gets held by the Volt Tackle into the Electro Ball. Super Swole Slam. Super effective on Dark type moves. Mimikyu is the only one left. The Shadow Sneak is in. They're going to go in with the playoff. Hooper has called the roll call. The Rayquaza is not even being hit. Flame Sweep doesn't manage to hit anything. Play with me comes out from Mimikyu, but it's just the Hooper left. Serena and Comfy are back up, but the Rayquaza is going. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
The Hooper took it again!
Oh my god, someone check this guy's PC, Switch, mobile, whichever device they're using, because that is legendary. Back-to-back Hooper steals to make sure that their team survives this winner bracket and makes it to the next path. Tragedy. Can you please call me? I need to learn how you time those auto attacks, how you time those moves so well in order to steal that Rayquaza.
I am speechless, and to add insult to injury, Tragedy was scored a Hondo Burger into the core. I think they were the only person that managed to score on the side of Go Figure. I'm dumbfounded, man. I'm actually dumbfounded. Second game in a row, Go Figure we thought they were going to be in control in time of this Ray fight, but MQ25 doing a great job. But here, MQ25 are going to go for another push on to this top side. They're 300 points to the good. 10 seconds left. I don't think there's enough time for MQ25 to score 300 points.
No, there isn't. And what a devastating game for MQ25. They did everything right. They came back from the clutches of being down in level, down in points, right? But they had a great fight at the Rayquaza. They were able to isolate since the Mimikyu wasn't there. They had the Talonflame, which was favored for the Secure. They had the Hooper in the Look Lobo. How in the world did Tragedy come back and secure that Rayquaza?
If we could see the highlights of that steal, I would very much love to see the highlights, because that was again. I'm speechless, man. I'm speechless. Tragedy causing tragedy to the side of MQ25. Second game, I said it. I'm just gonna repeat. Second game in a row that MQ25 had the better of it inside that Rayquaza fight, and then they managed to Hooper steal, not even in its unbound form this time, in its normal form, in its small little chibi form, managing to secure that one. Holy. But let's not take anything away. Go figure, we're in control of that game from the start. Like, very powerful performance, very big pressure. Even trading these two top lane and basement lane, and letting MQ25 get that KO streak, but then they counted in that early game.
Yeah, it's just, I think having a Talonflame was so good. They were doing very well at the start. You can see the Flame Streak coming through in clutch to knock out the enemy. I think it's a great combination with Umbreon, great combination with the ability for your Buzzwole to help out with the grab, right? So the fly actually hits properly. Just at the end of the day, Rayquaza is such an important objective to make sure you secure. Especially since it's going to be a 5v1 scenario, right? Like, it's going to be... it takes a miracle, I think, to come back from that. And one of the benefits of being so ahead is you only need one score after Rayquaza to cement your W in that game and really get the victory in the set. I'm just very excited to see how the Rayquaza fight panned out again. I'm sure folks at home are probably going to be waiting for that as well. As we get ticked down, you can see a lot of the engagements there. Pikachu was running that Volt Tackle. I'm still not a fan of the Pikachu pick here, and I'm not saying that Pikachu was the reason that the game was lost, because obviously it's more of a timing thing. But as these teams will learn from these fights, while they are going to be able to fight out and isolate very, very well, at the end of the day, if you don't have your synergy right in terms of timing, the Rayquaza secure, you're going to be losing a few games like this.
Flame Sweep completely getting dodged by the Play With Me onto here as we see this, but then comes back with the fly to take down the Mimikyu. It is only Hooper in this section. Thank you for production. We got the slow-mo going on here as Rayquaza is being taken down. There you see Hooper is outside of its form, gets mean looked. Man, I just don't understand. Does the mean look run out? Like, isn't Hooper trapped? Fly comes down a bit early. Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful secure by Tragedy. And just to your point, with Pikachu, definitely not saying that was the cause, but it was that strong Thunderstorm Unite move that was the pivotal engage for the side of MQ25 that allowed them to really get the jump on Go Figure in that one. But mate, you can have a good raid fight as much as you want, but sometimes things just come down to a crazy secure. But I think we're just going to, after that, you and I need a little break before we go into the next game, don't you think?
Yeah, we definitely do. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We still have plenty more sets to come. But for now, it is up to MQ25 to find a way through the losers bracket in those BO1s to kind of maybe get a revenge on Go Figure after those two secures. So see you guys very, very soon. Monthly Cup number 1. I'm here with our third caster today, Tins. Tins, how are you doing, mate? It's bright outside for you, but it's dark outside here, so I know we're in different time zones.
Yeah, Fu, it's so exciting to be here, honestly. We've switched time zones because usually we do the weeklies on Fridays, right? And for that time, it's usually pretty late for me. It's been a long week. And now we're feeling pretty fresh, Sunday morning. Excited to be covering a different region with yourself and Lobo this morning. So I see the brackets already got off to an absolute flyer. Everyone seems to be sweeping things up today.
Exactly, and this is a special event because we've got teams invited from qualifying through either winning a weekly cup, a challenger cup, or just through the engage points as well. So as I say this, let's have a look at the bracket, Tins, and maybe update you on what's been happening so far. As you can see, we do have a double elimination bracket today for today's event, and we're in the semi-finals now. We're going to be casting Team Vilixum and Go Figure, which is a team we just watched. You just missed it, Tins, but an absolute showdown of the two matches we saw in round 2, where Hooper was able to secure 1v5 in back-to-back Rayquaza fights, and that is something absolutely incredible. I hope Tragedy from Go Figure plays it again, so you get to witness their absolute prowess, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big advocate for Hooper players. It's such a great mon. All the CC and stuns, the rotations around the map it provides. It's just such a great mon, Fu, and I'm excited to see if that comes out again in the next match for sure.
Yeah, we're going to be able to set that up for everyone. But in terms of the other side of the update, we do have Absolute Circus going into losers round 3 after taking down Tempest. But it's going to be MQ25 versus Killicher. So we'll keep you guys updated as the tournament goes on. But I'm very excited to see how these next two teams play at the end of the day, though. Winners bracket is always where the action is, at its fullest, because it is going to be that best of 3 Tins.
Yeah, of course. Really excited to get into it. We've got obviously some great teams I'm not so familiar with. It's the exciting thing of coming into a different region. So obviously I'm so used to being in EU, so it's nice to step out of the comfort zone a little bit and head into some players and teams that I'm not so familiar with. So it's going to be interesting to see, Fu, as we know the meta is shaped up in a different way with the recent balance patch. How has that meta come into it today? Obviously, where I've just come into it, is the speedsters really popping off today as normal?
Yeah, I think you've definitely guessed it correctly. Definitely both these teams picking up speedsters of their own. They're also banned out quite a bit as well. But from what we can tell, Absol Talonflame still a very, very great pick for both these teams that are prioritized in those first and second positions. We also saw Hooper, Comfey, and a Tita on one team, and that is something that I've never seen before. And I think this is why we like to cast different regions, isn't it? Because India have their own little flavor, own little twist about how to play this game and how to play it competitively against the other team. So I can't wait to show you guys what these teams have banned out. And as we discussed, all the time during this meta shift, whether teams play a speedster heavy comp or a anti-speedster heavy comp, it's dependent on what the teams can play, right? Not all teams are very good at all the speedsters, seeing how the meta has shifted so suddenly. So you will see some sort of bans of like a double speedster ban, as opposed to maybe like an Umbreon Blissey ban, depending on their team. So far though, we do have Psyduck, Talent, and Absol banned out for our first 3 on the chopping block.
Yes, it's pretty much the same as bans coming through as EU, but that Hooper you were just talking about, Fu, that has been taken out as well. I always say it's a really good choice for a ban because, like we say, rotations, it's secured the Ray 2 times in a row in 1v5, so you were telling me. So, yeah, pretty good ban there for that last one.
And I think this is so funny and a really smart move because they know it's going to be up to Go Figure to kind of decide which Pokemon to pick, right? Because it is going to be Team Vilixum that has the ability to pick out their first 2 Pokemon, and seeing that Gengar's taken, you have to pick up Meowscarada, and Apple does just that with Rudra, pick up the Comfey as well. So away from what Go Figure could play from last game, and this is a really smart drafting decision, I think.
It really is. It's going to be interesting to see what the opposition do in reply, and that is Blissey Slowbro. I was about to ask, is it going to be that we see a lot more Slowbro coming into the game now, Fu? It's so good back in the day, but you've got that Slow Beam, you've got so many CC moves with Surf and Scald that can just really disrupt the opponent, so it's nice to see that that's been picked up.
Yeah, we did see in EU, one of the teams, they like to play 3 Speedsters, a Slowbro, and a Sableye, so I'm not surprised that Legend will be picking up that. But, Snorlax doesn't seem to be loved in this region as much as the other ones. For example, OC and EU, this is either a defender that's banned or picked up, but that does seem like Nightmare will be taking the Serena instead, and Beast hovering over the Aegis Slash is quite interesting. It does provide them with enough secure potential, just in case a Rish picks up maybe a Blaziken or another Pokemon that, such as Zacian, that could secure. But it does seem like Tita is so popular in this region, seemingly played by Beast beforehand, but now a Rish also taking this all-rounder.
Absolutely insane, Fu. As we can see, there is not a ranged attacker amongst either of these teams, so we can see exactly what role is struggling right now with the Aegis Slash and the T-Tar picked up last there. It looks like Oreo is going to take that T-Tar onto the ruins, but I'm so excited, Fu. I love T-Tar. It's one of my favourite mons from back in the day, and it's with a Comfy, that could be a real dangerous raid boss as we head into sort of those really large team fights.
Yeah, it's going to be yet again, we talked about how Tita needs a little bit of time to come online, and I guess from the draft screen, it does feel like having a Gengar will be able to provide so much more early game, right? Especially with the Slowbro as well coming online at 4, compared to something like a Masquerada or a Mimikyu. So the job is really on the Gengar here to make sure that they start the ball rolling for their team, make it hard for the Larvitar to actually evolve into your Pupitar, into your Tita later on, and hopefully, they're going to be able to get those KOs, make sure that the Tita doesn't get level 13 or 14, and then, they're going to have an easier time. But from what we've seen today, Tins, you can wipe out all but one Pokemon on the enemy team, and you still have a chance to lose the Rayquaza. So anything goes, all the rules are out the window. If it happens again, I might just do a backflip off my desk.
Oh, I'd love to see that, Phil. Honestly, I'm absolutely hyped. It's early morning. Usually I'm used to being here with you guys late at night. But yeah, I've had a nice relaxing weekend and we're ready for some absolutely awesome games. Like T-Tar's on the map. We've got Aegis Slash on the map. Like no ranged attackers to speak of, but looks like we are heading into it, Phil.
Yeah, we have the Ghastly taking the essential area, getting that for sure level 5. Now, there's not going to be any Pokemon that would go for the invade there, even though Ghastly is a decent invade target. Sprigatito now heading into this bottom part there. The passive procced immediately, and this is the power, I think, of Slowpoke early game, especially since you have an Eevee that doesn't really do too much until it gets that level 4.
Yeah, it's got such a great secure with that water gun as well, hasn't it? As we just see the teams fighting for this farm on top side. We do see a stat go in. So important, Food, for that Serena to get online level 6, and it really could start to snowball a match if you can get online early enough.
We do have an evolution of the Sprigatito and down in the bottom part, but a Comfey and a Love the top side, definitely quite a weak duo to go, especially into the Haunter, which is going to be running the Hex. And as soon as you get hit with the Will-O-Wisp, with the Sludge Bomb, this is a very scary scenario for them. So they're going to meet the Mimikyu in the middle there. I do not think Mimikyu wins that matchup. I don't think any Pokemon wins the matchup early game, maybe apart from an Absol into a Haunter that's running Hex.
Yeah, the first set of Midbirds are on the map. Both teams are really not going for it at the minute. They're more interested in fighting each other. Some fights going in now. There's just absolutely insane amounts of aggression from these two teams. They've just about locked those in now. That is a level 5 Sprigatito on the map. Down goes the sword there. Slowbro dropping really low. If they could have got that KO, there'd have been some huge dunks going in, Fu. But what a great period of play this is to start off.
In fact, the Umbreon gets to get a few dunks in to get their attack weight stats so that the healing gets a little bit more if they're going to go on the Wish. Or they can even run Snarl since they do have the Comfey. Full heal will get proc there, so their next Sludge Bomb will be able to be devastating if they can hit. They will be able to do so, but seems like this Haunter doesn't want to fight too far in. Probably still waiting for them to get that level 7. It just depends on the Speedsters player, right? Some are more confident, some are more aggressive in the early game, but I think Kai has done the job so far just to make sure that he is going to be the highest level on their team. And, it's probably in their good intention to keep it that way.
Absolutely, yeah. Just playing quite passive until that Gengar comes online when you've got so much more potential to get out with the ult and everything. It's smart play, not giving themselves over to the opposition to get a potential KO. So if you do miss that move like the Will-O-Wisp, and get yourself stuck in a position that you are really not going to be doing too much damage as a huge fight breaks out on top here, Fu.
Oh, Pupitar goes down immediately, and so will the Mimikyu as Nightmare able to pick up a K-Streak of 2 and hitting at level 8. Meanwhile, in the bottom, a nice little telekinesis to pull back Apple into the surf, but this Haunter still doesn't want to fight. Instead, Legend's going to actually go back in, run away to the pad with the Flower Trick on its head. We have another nice telekinesis. I mean, a great slower player is going to be able to hit these telekinesis to kind of like drag members back in. We can see the Mimikyu starting this Registeel immediately with the Shadow Claw. A great move to start shredding objectives, but we are going to be lacking the skill until the Flower Trick will come. It will be able to lock onto them, but it's actually going to be the Phantom Ambush, I think, that secures the Registeel and puts Go Figure in the lead. They're going to use this to kind of siege this basement pad. No one's actually going to defend it on the side of Vilixen, and I mean, that's going to be a nice little score down at the bottom. Possibly to break it. No, it seems like Legends is going to just wait it out and kind of maybe wait for the Masquerade to come back here, Tins.
Yeah, there's absolutely fights breaking out all across the map. They've rotated fast into the top half here, Go Figure. They're absolutely shredding this Regieleki. Great play from Kai, by the way, on that Gengar to get a KO Streak of Tufu and lock up that bottom objective earlier on. Like we were saying, they were playing pretty passive, just waiting for their moment. But Vilixen now going for the scores on the bot side. Look at this defense from Slowbro in the face of 3.
Oh, Legend has to be a Legend here to kind of defend it, but it's not going to be enough, unfortunately, before the pad will break. Here comes the Hex Guard, but the Bliss Assistant trying to save them in. We do have the Flower Trick able to break their ankles and knock out 4 members of Go Figure. I mean, Safeguard will be able to cleanse the Flower Trick, but not if it's applied to a Pokemon that doesn't have it. So I think it was just a unlucky scenario. Flora is also doing a lot of damage to take down some of the defenders from Go Figure. And, I mean, what a response from Vilixen after the Gengar has come online. They are going to be able to have a T-Tar now. Mimikyu is hitting that level 10, and we got a Meowscarada matching that Gengar at 11.
Yeah, it's really nice. Go Figure had the best of it in the early game there, but Vilixen had a huge team fight on the bot side there. The Floral Flourish came out, and that, by the way, is so disgusting right now. If you can lock in the opponents, pushed that bot side before the pad came up, Fu, and now look at this, 173 to 167. We've got a really close game on our hands as the fight breaks out in the mid.
Oh, great fight here. Slow Beam to lock down and make sure Umbreon doesn't get to play, and Mimikyu will also have another lockdown in response, but they get sliced and diced through from the Aegis Slash, and it's going to be Go Figure coming out on top. Now a time to break this pad, maybe finally. T-Tar comes through with the Tyrannical Rampage, and Sword doesn't even get to watch with his coup de grace as they get eviscerated. And now with the basement Reggie opening, it doesn't seem like a Blissey and a Serena is going to be able to stop this secure, a Slowbro rather, which means, you know, it's going to go on the side of Vilixen. So one Reggie a piece, but with a Reggie steal, the next fight up top looks to be in the favor of Vilixen.
Yeah, Vilixen absolute giants in defending that pad. You had the Flourish come out in the face of 4, then the Sandstorm diving in there from Tyranitar. What a great AoE combo that is, Fu. Just defending a pad so easily, just covering the whole pad. They just could not get in there, Go Figure, after taking down 4, but they're back for more here.
Oh, Moonlight Prance to come through, and the Bliss Assistant onto Nightmare to make sure that they are going to be able to deal enough damage with the triple axle. It's going to be good enough to take down the Meowscarada, but in response, the Blissey gets taken down, and the Hex Guard is here to clean, but it cannot wipe the dirt. That is going to be that Tyranitar, right? And also the Mimikyu, and you can see Tyranitar picking up a KO streak of 4. It really invites the Gengar to come through, right, into its stomps, into its true damage, and it's not going to be able to sustain the Tyrannical Rampage.
What an absolute raid, boss. This is so close, Fu. You see Go Figure just trying to get that little bit of a lead. They're not sure where they're at. It's so close at this point. We've got little over a minute left. The game's absolutely flown by. Vilixen at the moment just dealing with that Regieleki going into that base. That's really nice from them. Nice bit of EXP. We have a level 14 Tyranitar on the map. 1 minute to go, Fu. Any bold predictions? What's the win conditions here for these teams?
I mean, I think we're staring right at it, right? The Tyranitar probably going to be the main target for the Slowbro there. But so is the Mimikyu, which is quite a problem for the team regardless, though. I think Vilixen needs to, especially the Comfy player, needs to be able to kind of think which Pokemon do I jump on, which is going to be the most likely Slowbro target in order to make sure that they don't go down. And Gengar, on the other hand, right, from Go Figure, is going to be looking for that engage. As soon as Slowbro grabs someone, Sludge Bomb must be applied into the Hex. We need to take them down ASAP. So got another fight going on here. Bit late now for both these teams to really fight unless they want it to be the Rayquaza fight there. As we can see, Vilixim giving up this Regirock. Instead, they want to get the positioning. It's a close battle for both these teams, but they have that top pad available for maybe a score before the Green Dragon comes.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. They've got 3 seconds to go. It looks like they might be trying to dunk a 50. That gives over the positioning to Vilixim. That is 100 dunk going in. Look at the scores through. They're going for the push on the top side. As another 50 is going in from Go Figure. On the bot side, the rip has ensued. And Go Figure are just going to take that for free. What is going on here?
Yeah, this is a little bit interesting to me. I don't know whether the maths work out for them to score enough that the enemy team can't score, especially since they haven't knocked out anyone. Now, we've seen people go for the score and disregard Rayquaza if they have like a 300-point lead, but they didn't really have that. And giving Go Figure all these shields for free and, you know, for more, I mean, they're probably just waiting for this Tyranitar to kind of defend this pad. Tita is going to be able to do that true damage, so it will go through the shield. So perhaps this is what they're banking on. Being ahead by less than 100, but if no one on Go Figure can score in the next 60 seconds, I mean, they still win the game, don't they?
That was an absolutely insane strategy we don't see much of in EU. I'm so excited to be here doing this because, like, Vilixim have actually still got the lead through by nearly 60 points. So if they could defend this home pad, and they've got the Pokemon to do it, we talked about it earlier, Floral Flourish, that T-Tap passive with the Sandstorm that just covers the whole base. There's a big push on from Go Figure, though, my friend, and I think this is going to be an exciting finale to this one.
Well, don't forget, though, we have the Slowbro Unite, so if they just Slowbro Unite the T-Type, everyone can score with their shield, so don't really know what the plan from Vilixim is. We'll see whether it comes in to fruition, as Legend will go through, he serves on in. The Slow Beam, does it lock onto a target? Yes, it maybe does. Can people get the score in? Yes, they can, because the T-Type isn't going to be able to do some damage, and now we're going to have Go Figure score all those points, take back the lead, and makes me wonder what the strategy was there. I mean, it is interesting at least. I'm so keen to be able to see it in action, but I think if there wasn't a T-Tart, that strategy would have actually worked out.
Yeah, that was so close, wasn't it? They couldn't quite get the scores in because of the true damage coming through from the T-Tar, but it just wasn't quite enough. I guess their plan was to try and get those shields broken. At least if they got 1 or 2 broken there, they'd have had a much better chance when the Go Figure came for that push at the end. But that was a really interesting strategy, Phil, and it really did nearly pay off for them there.
Yeah, and I think it would have worked, honestly, if they had more than a 300-point lead, right? Because you can only score so much when you have, you know, let's say 5 members on top, 50 points each. That's 500 points. And if you have 300-point lead already and all your team scores, it makes it really, really difficult for the other team to come back in. I mean, while all said and done, there's only a 130-point difference. And, you know, it's sometimes the best way to fight the Rayquaza fight is not fight at all. Obviously, it didn't happen here, but it is something that's different. And I guess we have to give credit for Team Vilixim to actually come up with that. Maybe with a Hooper, that would have worked as well, because then you get instant TP, come back in, try to knock out someone. I don't know. I'm trying to, like, see the vision. Maybe there's a method behind the madness, but so far, I think Go Figure's just like, thank you for the free game. You know, we worked really hard for 8 minutes. Both teams very, very close. We got the Regirock buff, but I think we got gifted a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, they had the Umbreon, didn't they? So I thought maybe if they could steal a couple of shields and they've got the true damage that we talked about from that T-Tar on that pad, maybe they just thought, yeah, if we can score enough points, we've got the true damage, the shield steal on Umbreon, maybe, just maybe, we can defend it. But yeah, Go Figure snuck the points in. Credit to both teams, though, Phil. That was a fantastic first game.
Yeah, it was a great first game to start off this winners finals here, as we see some of the highlights from the last game. I think there was a definite brawly kind of game, as both teams are really just in at that tug of war, right? Whenever the Meowscarada had their Unite move, it would go contest that Gengar with the Hex, knowing that the Ticks are probably going to do enough damage before the Hexcar actually runs through the team. You can see some of the other fights in the middle here at the 5-minute mark. Both teams having lockdown potentials, and Serena picking up a Chaos Trigger 3 really helped it snowball into that level 13 region. And we have another push onto the pad. This tier 1 pad tin stayed on for so long because the Tyranitar kept coming back, and this is where it picked up that massive Chaos Trigger 4.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe that is where they came up with that strategy, Fu, because they held that pad like so well for so long. Maybe they thought, if we can hold the home base like that and we get enough scores in, maybe it's possible to win. But yeah, insane.
Yeah, here you can see just everyone came through. I think from Go Figure, it was just like, okay, let's go. And then when all of them went in, I think everyone was just like a little bit shocked that it happened, I think, on the side of Vilixen. And they're like, oh, crap. So I'm keen to see what the second game will bring out for everyone. And I'm sure folks at home are probably going to have a good time watching as well. At the end of the day, Go Figure, taking that 1-0, it's going to be up to Vilixen to come up with something different, I think, for the game number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the strategy was great. Like I said, it's so nice for me coming into a different region, seeing different strategies that come out like that. And for the first game today, it didn't quite work out, but there's no saying that it won't as we go on through the day. But Psyduck straight out of here, same Hooper, 2 supports off the map here, Fu. Interesting.
Yeah, no speedster so far, but I do anticipate at least Talent or Absol, maybe Gengar to be banned out here. Mimikyu getting banned out is very interesting, especially being in the first pick position. Seems like Nightmare is looking to pick up the Talent Flame, unless the Vilixen will ban it out. Absol will be the speedster, the only speedster to take out. So being on the orange side here is great because you're going to be able to pick up 2 speedsters out of the 3. With Talent Flame being locked in by Kai, Masquerada, Gengar. Come on now, we have to pick this up. We cannot afford to give the enemy team both Gengar and Talonflame.
Absolutely not. It's crazy to see how these things have gone right through, but it's actually a Comfy coming out again. They do really like that over there, but is it going to be a very similar draft that we're going to see coming through here? Is it going to be Umbreon picked up next with potentially a Blissey or a Slowbro? I think Slowbro Blissey last time. Will it be the same here?
I am so surprised that we do not have a Gengar. It is one of the best speedsters available, and both teams seemingly not wanting it in that priority set. Tragedy actually picks up the Umbreon here since their Hooper is going to be banned out, and I agree with you. Blissey was available, but, we talked about mean look into speedsters, and if it's going to be able to trap something like a Masquerada and their Unite move, I mean, this is a great way for the Talent Flame to also take down whoever is stuck. Yet again, where is the Gengar, Tins? Are we just haters and Gengar of this region? Or are they just like, they just know the enemy team can't play it? Not too sure what's going on. Maybe someone in chat can let us know the priority of speedsters. Because from OC, it's definitely Talent, Gengar, Masquerada, then your Absol. And I mean, I'm lost for words here, to be honest. We were seeing a Garchomp come out instead of the other purple Pokemon.
I mean, I think it's pretty similar in EU, right? We see usually 3 speedsters picked up to start with, or maybe 2 banned out. But I think as the draft's gone on, Phil, I kind of realised that picking up the 2 speedsters over there for Rudra, taking the Comfy instead, the next 2 picks for the opposing team was Slowbro and Umbreon. So 2 speedsters into those might actually be quite difficult.
And another purple screen, but not the Pokemon I'm looking for. Charizard will be able to finish the draft for Vilixen here. Charizard is something that we talked about beforehand in terms of the anti-speedster. If they are going to be playing that Flare Blitz Fire Punch, it is a great way to stun out members that are diving at you, and also you have the chase down potential with your Unite move, the Seismic Slam. So a couple things they can actually do with this Charizard. Obviously, there is going to be people that are a little bit annoying to chase after, such as this Mewtwo Y, which can deal a lot of damage if Mega Evolved, and also teleport out of the way twice with his dashes. And I think luckily for the Charizard, the Unite move has been buffed so that it can grab anybody. But Tins, we have a Slowbro on the field as well, so I think on paper this is a roster from both these teams that I don't know who gets the upper hand. What do you think? Do you think that there's a special team that has really won over draft, or is it kind of equal in your opinion?
I think it's very equal, to be honest. Like you said, we've got Slowbro. Slow Beam can just take that Charizard right out of it, right? It's such a great counter to it. But that being said, if you can get the right target, get in the air, X attack up, you can do all sorts of work if that Slow Beam is not available. We've got Mewtwo Y on one side as well. So much rotation. Psy Strike potentially going to be knocking up that Speedster on the opposing team. Yeah, Infinite Cyber, obviously brings out huge amounts of stuns across the board. It's going to be a really, really exciting match. Yeah, can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it as well. Obviously, Charizard needs that level 7, so these are kind of like the later Mons that you're trying to build up, right, for that final 2 minutes. And as we can see, the game 2 will come through for Go Figure and Vilixen. Go Figure with that game advantage will mean that they just need to win one more to make it into the grand finals for today's event. And I mean, they were the highest, I guess, the leader in terms of the points leaderboard, as well as a weeklies winner. So definitely a team that's very, very experienced, I think, in this field. But we can't really, I guess, deny Go Figure's ranking as well. They were able to qualify through those events, and this is what's exciting about today's tournament, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I've been really excited so far to see how the different strategies sort of differ from EU. Yeah, as we're getting into this one anyway, we've already had the rotations through. We've got Talonflame and Charmeleon heading up into the top side here for this first set of mid-birds. They are really early as a fight breaks out here. Look at that damage going through. Comfy just in time, jumping on Charmeleon to avoid that KO.
Oh, yeah, that was really, really scary. Out of nowhere, acrobatics into your flame charge. We'll be able to do a lot of damage. But speaking of damage, though, do you have your Frogatito available for their team to dish out their own bit of boosted as they fight for these birds down with Beast and Legend, really in a aggressive stance running through with the Surf as well. But something about your speedsters now, the 4 that I'm talking about, has that defense penetration that's been new to the game, and that really allows them to shred through defenders such as Slowbro.
Go Figure off to an absolute flyer through. Triple KO coming through from Fletchinder on the top half there. All sorts of dunks going in, getting loads of stacks early doors, which is really important because later on when you get that Brave Bird or Fly coming through on that Talonflame, you're going to be dealing all sorts of damage across the board.
Kai just shy of that 7 now to unlock either the Brave Bird or the Fly move. I think in this case, both kind of moves work, but if you're going to be running that Brave Bird Arrow Ace, you need to make sure the Trevenant is nowhere close to you to have a couple of stacks coming in the top side for Nightmare and your Comfey as well, as we get ready for another engagement before any of the objectives will spawn. It does seem like these teams are ready to fight. A level 7 Charizard for Vilixen is great news.
Absolutely, yeah. Charizard on the map. It's nice to see Talonflame now going back to pick up that jungle. Can they get that elusive level 9 before the first set of objectives? They must be heading that way right now. Just ticked over to 8. A little bit of poke damage coming through from each of these teams. There is another set of mid-birds about to hit the map through. The game is flying by. I don't really know who has the upper hand at the minute. It's 55-44 on the scoreboard as the fight breaks out here.
Well, we look at the levels. A Talonflame that's hit level 9. It's definitely an advantage for Go Figure, isn't it? But I understand and agree that having a Trevenant, a Serena, or kind of available here, it is tough to say who's going to get this Reg Ice. You have the Flower Trick applied to your Umbreon, but that's nothing a Wish can't fix, as we have a contest now with the Flames coming through, absolutely deleting the Trevenant. It's going to be that Slowbro. Regice is going to be a little bit weak now as we pan up top to see Charizard finally taking down Umbreon, the Garchomp getting the Regieleki, and the Serena there, ready from Vilixen to kind of fight and I guess defend the pad right before it walks in.
Yeah, this is what I really like from Go Figure. They've just left the Garchomp up there, getting the scores in. An instant rip, obviously, on that Regieleki with the potential, as soon as those boosted start popping off, does so much work. Go Figure did not even need the Garchomp down. They managed to absolutely destroy this bottom side, 105-44. They're really taking it away through as more points rain in for Go Figure. What do Vilixen have to do here? They're really starting to struggle at this point.
You can definitely see kind of the snowball coming out from both the Garchomp and also the Talonflame, but I think the good news for Vilixen is they have the Charizard Unite to kind of engage when they need to and push a pad. Right now, only Serena has the Unite move, so they need to kind of wait, maybe farm up some of these wild Pokemon, contest for these birds a little bit, and that's exactly what Trevenant is doing so well for the team. And as they just wait for the ticks, maybe get a good opportunity, maybe pick up the Garchomp when it's united as well, just cancel it out. There's a lot of options for their team, but they need to make sure they don't give any more experience to them.
Absolutely not. I feel like our Talonflame player for Go Figure is just doing absolute insane work. The rotation to the top side early on, getting that triple KO, and then the flame sweep on that bot objective food just did so much work for the team, and I think that's where this effect has come from. It's why that Go Figure are just having such a great game at the moment, playing around that Talonflame. It picks up another 2 KO streak here.
Yeah, definitely a less of a closer game between these two teams. We have 223 for Go Figure and only 44 to Vilixen and Comfey. We'll have the Unite move now, but yet again, I think maybe the Charizard used the Unite move, not too sure. Didn't get to actually watch the action, but Trevenant will finally have their Unite move as we have a bottom tier 1 break from Gold Figure onto Vilixen, and it seems like once you break that pad, it's very hard for Vilixen to actually contest that basement Reggie. So we're going to pan up top as we see probably these teams fight for this Regieleki spawning about 3 seconds.
Yeah, I love what Vilixen have done here. They've backed away. They're not going for that bot objective. They're realising they need to go for this Regieleki because if not, that's heading towards their tier 2. It's a hard one to fight for as the Seismic Slam goes into the air, locking that Slowbro away from potentially stealing it through. Now this is potentially a chance for Vilixen to get back into it.
Big siege on that tier 1. The Regieleki walking in, and a Trevenant, a huge isolation with the Hornleys to stun up into the Phantom Forest. This is a Trevenant player that knows how to play, knows how to initiate for the team, and what a great response coming out from Vilixen. Meanwhile, though, we do have 302 points from that back cap for them, but all eyes up in the top path as Serena picks out Talonflame, giving themselves a level 12. But now they have more work to do as the Comfey will also try to save this with their Unite move, but the Flowery Fields Forever gets taken by the Moonlight Prance of the Umbreon. However, Triple Axel able to keep themselves sustained, and Tragedy trying the best to lock down this Pokemon, and no one can stop a Comfey Serena anymore, especially when it hits that level 13 and scaled up. What a fight from Vilixen. I love the fact they're resilient in the terms of in the face of kind of like a back foot position where we have kind of levels and points and lead of Go Figure. They still believe they can turn this game back.
Absolutely, rightly so, because take nothing away from them. They were fantastic in that first match, Fu. They were struggling up until this point, but that's all it takes. You get one good push. How insane was Serena, by the way, there with the Comfey attached, just taking on 3 for so long in the top half. Again, another match that's absolutely flown past. It was crucial, that was, for Vilixen to get back into it. And they're really going for it again here, picking up another couple of important KOs as Mewtwo has to come up to sort things out here.
Yeah, it gets to the point where you think, is Go Figure giving away too much XP from fighting these 1v3s without kind of thinking about the consequences here, right? 30 seconds until the final stretch. It does seem like there's no opportunity for Vilixen to hit that basement Reggie, but hopefully we get to pan to see which one it is going to be. It's going to be a Reggie Rock for the team, so great news for your Garchomp and your Slowbro Umbreon players. However, it does seem like there's going to be a trade of objectives as we have 3 members of Vilixen hitting that Regieleki and providing a little bit more pressure now, especially since they're on the back foot for the points.
Absolutely, it's important, isn't it? When you see a Regieleki, it's just something mentally that thinks, should we deal with that? We've got 4 seconds to go. Do we get the positioning or do we just stop that Regieleki going in? It's only going to be 20 points. It's not enough. The fight's already broken out, though, Fu. Vilixen coming in to sort things out.
Oh, they have to now, right? With the Trevenant having to use the Unite to stay sustained, the Slow Beam going into Masquerada, and there goes Apple. Back to the Pokemon they go. The Serena Unite picks off the Talonflame as well. What a great engage from Vilixen. Really capitalized on that fight. It's going to be up to Irish to stay in the pit. They're going to be 1 HP. Rayquaza is going to be able to take down a dragon of their own. And we're going to have Serena wiping the rest of them. Only Slowbro and Garchomp available, but Garchomp decent sustain against the Serena. Possibly a good Pokemon to fight against it. And there might be a refight potential here as both teams are waiting for their teammates to come back. Everyone has exhausted their Unite move pins, but looks like Rayquaza rather, getting ripped quickly.
Here comes the fly. Oh, no way. Oh, so close to a secure there from Talon player. Can they break these shields, though, Fu? Because if they can, Go Figure is still nearly 100 points in the lead. Looks like they may get some points in bot. No, the shield has been broken. Comfey's going to get the 50 in, though. That puts Vilixen just 11 points in the lead. But look at the top half. They're not quite going to get the 50 in. Go Figure. This is really close, my friend.
Oh, my gosh. Go Figure, I'm not sure whether they know they're just 11 points shy of, or 12 points rather, to win this game. A tiny dunk. Does anyone have like 6 points, 7 points to their name to get a quick score in? Because that's something that they cannot defend. But at the same time, Charizard does have 49 points to their name though, so if they do make their way on the other side, it is going to be a whole lot of a difficult task for Go Figure to come back, and I think that's what they're doing. Meanwhile though, we do have a fight in the bottom part there, one last chance for it. Slowbro getting taken down first is not good for Go Figure at all. The Hunderburger will be able to land successfully for Blixum, and I think that definitely brings them the victory for this second game. And now we're going to game number 3.
Unbelievable. Well played to Villuxem, because they were on the back foot for a good portion of that game. I think the turning point, Fu, you said it. They just, Go Figure just started giving away a lot of catch-up EXP where they were so far ahead. And yeah, what an insane match. We just love Unite, don't we? It's so back and forth.
Yeah, a very, very good fight coming out from Villuxem there, and being able to maintain their posture, even losing some shields, knowing that they're just going to be close in terms of the points. As soon as your Hunderburger goes in, you'll be able to secure that win. And I do have to say, though, I think Legend had a fantastic a pick onto Apple there to shut them down, but the rest of the team, unfortunately, just wasn't able to survive that ordeal. And even the Talonflame just so close to securing. I feel like there's a curse on Talonflame today. In all of the games I casted, they never are able to secure the Rayquaza, even though they should have the favoritism in terms of the fly against the flower trick, but Apple's just going to be way too good there.
Yeah, as we head into the highlights, I'd like to keep an eye on that Talonflame, Fu, because Kai played absolutely out of their mind, getting that triple early game in the top path. Oreo as well for the side of Villuxem with the Comfy attached, having some absolutely insane plays. But yeah, it was really unfortunate. I saw that fly coming in, and I thought for all the world that was going to be secured by Go Figure, Kai on the Talon. But yeah, it doesn't always go that way. We know when there's a Ray, there's a way for any team, and Villuxem locking it up to a 1-1.
Yeah, they definitely are able to bring it to game number 3, and it's going to be the decider. I think I wouldn't expect anything less from a winners finals, right? Both these teams want to make it into the grands without much trouble, and having a 1-game advantage in the best of 5 is a huge relief as well. And you know, giving yourself a decent buffer to kind of try out drafts as well will mean that you're going to be playing with a little bit less restriction. We can see how well Serena was able to play into those 2 months with a Comfy on top of it. And this is the moment I talk about. 4-4-ish, but that gets eaten up by the Slowbro Unite into the Umbreon Unite. But yet again, just people coming down from both the Garchomp and also the Charizard. Just meant that they were missing a few people. And this is the skill time, right? Where we saw the fly come through, maybe just a little bit too late before the flower trick dropped.
Yeah, that was so close, wasn't it? I really thought, like I said, that the Talon was going to secure that up. Some insane defense, a lovely flame sweep at the end. They just couldn't quite sneak the points in. And then, yeah, it just wasn't enough. Charizard making it back just in time, just to drop some of that Fire Blast onto the pad and make it a lovely little victory for Villuxem. Exciting, Fu, isn't it? Go Figure really took that game away, and I thought for all the world they were going to go for it. And but as it went on, like we said, the catch-up EXP gave over to Villuxem, and they had a fantastic Ray fight.
Yeah, they definitely did. So we're going to have the next set ready for you, next game ready for you guys to spectate here. Number 3, 1 apiece, 1 winner from this set, and we got to have a Comfy ban now. So I mean, this region just keeps surprising me, Tins. I mean, this is bans I've never seen before, picks I've never seen before, Pokemon that have not been picked up I'm surprised about. Let's see whether there's any more interesting thing that happened in this set.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's a very interesting ban, is that Comfy, but we did see Oreo and Comfy popping off last game with that Serena triple acto in the face of 3. It was just ridiculous sustain. But 2 speedsters off the map, Fu, 2 speedsters that were in our last match, so these teams didn't want to face those again.
No, they don't. I think Mimikyu getting banned out there is very popular, I think, for this region. Now, Apple gets to decide if they want Apps or Gengar, but they say neither, Fu. I'm going to go with Hooper as our first pick.
Yeah, never a bad first pick. Obviously, you've got Trick has taken a big upturn in popularity since all these speedsters came into it. What are they going to take to go with that? Kai instantly locking in an Absol that was banned out last game. So if Kai's Talonflame, if Kai's Absol is anything like Talonflame, we're going to see a real strong performance from him.
Yeah, Kai's definitely very confident on the Absol. They played it in those 2 games against MQ25 beforehand. Legend picking up the Umbreon, and Apple will be able to lock in the Mewtwo Y for the team instead, as no Masquerada is going to be available, and LK now taking away the slow bro, making sure that it's on their side. And more of a, I think, conventional draft from both these teams, to be honest. A Blissey coming out from Tragedy as well. It seems that we're kind of veering away from the madness that was before. And finally, and I think to the good, Rish is going to lock in this Gengar. It is an absolute game changer right now. Trust me, Tins. It is going to be the game winner here.
Yeah, I really hope so. We saw some insane Gengar play. I think it was in the first match where the Phantom Ambush came in, then locked in a double KO streak. It was criminal that it wasn't picked up last game, but maybe the players just weren't confident in it against the opposing draft with that. I think it was Slowbro and Umbreon picked up. But yeah, couldn't absolutely rip through defenders. But yeah, exciting food. Blissey, I'm excited to see what that goes into because your Bliss assistance onto an Absol Midnight Slash can be absolutely detrimental to an opposing team.
I think for Gengar right here, a Dream Eater would be really, really good. Just because the Blissey is probably going to be running that safeguard for the Serena, right? And having a Dream Eater not being able to cleanse the damage that it can do will be able to allow Gengar to get some resets and really access the backline into Beast. Because I think that's probably going to be a charge beam Miraidon. Kind of, looking at the draft that your team, Go Figure, has put out, right? As well as the opposition Aegis Slash, which is going to be your safety net for the secure. I do think that this, on paper, looks to be a very good game for your Speedster Gengar.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see two different speedsters hitting the map this time with the Talon and Meowscarada out of it. Slowbro is a thing again, Fu. Like we said, it's got so much CC potential. We saw the Slow Beam last game locking in that Meowscarada at Ray, but in the end, that just sort of might have been a decoy for the Charizard to get up in the air with that X attack and do all sorts of work. So it's interesting to see the strategies coming out here. That could have just been a decoy.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that both these teams ambush the same path this game, just because I want to see the interaction between Absol and Gengar. I do think that Gengar will win that fight, especially if it can lock on the Dream Eater. However, it does take a little bit more, I guess, skill, I think, in terms of aiming than Absol does, because normally, you think about Absol Pursuit, Absol Night Slash. The hitbox is quite large, right? It's kind of a huge cone shape. Pursuit able to just lock on as an auto attack. However, Dream Eater, it does have incredible range, but you do have just that linear path that you need to hit. But once you do hit, Tins, everyone's gonna be dropping like flies.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a skilled player on that Gengar, you can just absolutely snowball, right? You're taking out player after player. Even defenders have no chance. And they've also got that Slowbro on the side of the Gengar. So, like we said earlier on, if you can lock an opponent down with that Slow Beam, they're not going to last long in the face of a Gengar also.
Yeah, it seems like a little bit of a slow start for both these teams, and we wait for the Mewtwo Y to come through. But just thinking about the draft yet again, having a Hooper on your team is also so crucial, because then the Absol can also get some dunks, right? Oh, I think, are they on the right team? Maybe not, but whichever team the Hooper is on, you're going to be able to kind of like maybe get a Regieleki that's walking in, get a dunk in, and then pull them back into the fight. I think a couple of these teams are trying out there today, but they're just missing the main ingredient, which is going to be the Rings Unbound. Even the scoring tactic that we saw in that one game against Vilixim, if you have a Hooper, you're going to be able to back cap, give the Rayquaza, but also come back into the Rayquaza pit if needed, or get quickly back into your home pad to defend the pad against anyone trying to score. That probably is an easier time than backing yourself, right, with the down D-pad.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an absolute huge advocate for Hooper. I never say it's a bad ban, and it's a really nice first pick as well, like you said, with the rotations, score potential, the ult. Its kit is just so insane. The CC it provides during the Rings Unbound, we see it. How many times, like you said, do we see it lock in a Rayquaza, even over in the EU tournaments and all the Fridays I've seen it. The team with a Hooper is nearly always a team that takes the game, because rotations, tricks taken a huge upturn in popularity, like we were talking about earlier on. It just keeps those speedsters up even longer to do even more work, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And as we get the next game ready for you guys, just sorting out some issues with the players restarting. Just looking at the bracket quickly as well, as I have it highlighted. Still no updates on the MQ25 against Hilichur's game, but Absolute Circus definitely going to be waiting for whoever wins that game. It's going to be a best of one, so things are really heating up there. As you know, you can't really afford to lose anything, right? It might be a Rayquaza flip, and you might be a really good team, but if you don't secure the Rayquaza, there goes your chances to make it back into the grand finals. I do have to ask, though, not too sure whether production can tell me, as I'm not too familiar with the teams in this region. Does Absolute Circus have anything to do with the Absolute Cinema team in the EU? And whether it's like a sister team, you know, that these teams have brought in. I'm going to be curious to see whether that actually happened. We're going to see from production that we're going to have a game now resume. So Great Apple is now going to be on Mewtwo back in Playtons, as we have a Miraidon contesting it as well.
Yeah, it's really nice to see you getting the pause in, allowing the player to get back available, because we don't want too much extra experience going over to the other team with a player out. But yeah, team's dropping really low on the top side here. Hooper is being forced back to grab that berry. That's a nice amount of stacks going in for Steenie and Absol, and now having to back up, dropping extremely low in the face of that Haunter Fu.
They definitely are. We do have Haunter now, just waiting for people to come in, maybe waiting for the safeguard to kind of finish and be on cooldown. But as they're running away, this is a perfect place for the Absol to come through. Kai getting those crits. KO for their team, double on their side, as they're going to be able to knock out the Hooper as well. And that's something really scary, I think, when you're matching against an Absol. Especially if they're running Sucker Punch as well, because you can't move or can't use your move so that you don't get hit by the Sucker Punch damage. But then you can't turn your back from them either, because Pursuit will get you. So a really tough time, I think, for any Pokemon trying to beat an Absol in those 1v1 scenarios.
Yeah, it takes it takes a lot of skill and then not a lot of skill at the same time. Like you said, it's kind of an auto attack, but you really have to pick your moments to make sure you hit those really nasty crits, right? Like if you pretty much one-shot in speedsters with that Pursuit and Sucker Punch if you hit it at the right time.
Yeah, and Kai's going to go for the even higher damage move, which is going to be the Psycho card. And as soon as they lock on, look at it, just chunks half of the damage from the Haunter. The Haunter doesn't even get to play the game right now. And I'm actually interested to see why that Gengar actually went with the Hex move, because now we have the Safeguard coming after Blissey. It will cleanse whatever target. It's going to be Sludge Bomb. Hair Sugar 3 for Kai, and he's just having the best time of the day. He's about to get his Unite move, and it's not going to even be 7 minutes yet.
Yeah, it's really exciting as well. That's a 4 KO streak coming through from our Absol. The dunks are raining down for Go Figure. There's the Midnight Slash. That is a 5 KO streak, Fu. Is that the first one we've seen on broadcast? It's the first one I've seen, that's for sure.
Yeah, first one tonight for sure, and it looks like Kai's going to be able to get another dunk in as well. And I think the Blissey just has to look at the Absol here, because we know the Haunter's going to be going for it. As soon as they get Sludge Bomb, use the Safeguard, boom. What are you going to do with Hex? You get no reset, you get no damage compared to when they're having a status condition, and you're going to be able to run through the team. And like we mentioned before, if all things don't work out the way they want, just pop your Unite move. You're going to be invincible for that period of time. So, Absol definitely a Pokemon to watch here, and I'm keen to see how Vilixen takes that Pokemon down.
Yeah, this is the one thing I'm concerned about with Gengar. It's absolutely insane when it gets to that Gengar, but in the meantime, it just kind of struggles. I feel like I did try and play it myself. I'm not a Gengar player by any means, but with it being so OP right now, if you do miss that status effect with the other move, you're doing absolutely nothing until you get to that Gengar.
Yeah, that's why I think Dream Eater is a better pick here, especially just because, as we mentioned, you can't really cleanse the damage coming out from Dream Eater. You can cleanse the slow that Dream Eater provides, but it's not going to be that easy to take down a Gengar that knows how to play that. But, you know, we can say as much as we want. We do have a Hex out on the board, so it's going to be up to them to prove me wrong here. We have a Bliss Assistant running onto your Serena, as they are going to be able to run through their team. The sword now going down to the stop provided by Nightmare. The Regieleki walking in, nearly 300 points now on the board. We're hitting the 5-minute mark soon, but yet again, what a huge task for them to kind of take this Absol down. It's level 12, Tins.
Yeah, we still see the Haunter like we were talking about. Absol is so insane early game. Picked up, I think, it was a 3 KO streak and then a 5. So that's where that level discrepancy is coming from. But at this point, it is just an absolute struggle for Vilixen. They're nearly 300 points behind by this point. Taking nothing away from them, though, Fu. We have seen them come back into it before, but there is Gengar again, stuck in that mean look. Great Phantom Ambush to escape as some points finally start to go in for Vilixen.
Yeah, Vilixen trying to find a way back in. A nice little slow beam. That's a huge KO for them, knocking out the Absol. And the fact that the Absol is out for 23 seconds just means how much impact they've had this game. But we celebrate the comeback mechanic in this game, where if you are going to be able to carry someone with a lot of levels, you're going to be able to get a lot of levels yourself. And, you know, from our level screen, you can see that's exactly what has happened. It definitely looks better. I mean, still on the side of go figure, but we can see a small window for Vilixen to come back in.
I've just noticed that the whole top path of Vilixen has been decimated through, and they are not shaping up at all for this Regieleki. Serena is going to get that potentially for free here. In this situation where you don't have a top lane, I feel like it's so important to make sure you prioritize that Regieleki.
Yeah, you definitely do, and I think leaving the Serena to kind of just do it by themselves uncontested would mean that that's a problem you need to solve another time, right? Maybe they're just delaying it. Well, I mean, with 4:12 being the time when that second Regieleki is taken out, there's going to be a third one for these teams to fight for. And that's something that GoFigure definitely wants to do. So far, we're going to have Vilixen kind of deal with this problem upstairs. But I do have to say, though, at least they got the Reggie at the bottom, Vilixen. At least some sort of consolation prize, right? Because right now, they are missing in levels. They are missing in points. But one step at a time, you either go for the levels or go for the points. Can't really ask for both.
Yeah, the only good thing about that Regieleki is it is some experience, I suppose. So that's going to be going over to them, as well as that nice little buff on the bot side they managed to secure up. The only struggle at the minute, Fu, is whereabouts are they going to get these points in? Because you see the positioning of Go Figure. They've got 3 on bot side, 2 top. They've just got the complete vision coverage as a huge Queen Ascendant comes in, dropping Gengar down to low, and Blissey picks up a huge KO. I think this is going to be really difficult for Vilixen from this point. It's almost like they have to just get together and push a path, but they've just got the map so well covered of Go Figure. There's no farm up. It's just, yeah, look at them just putting the pressure on here.
Yeah, pressure is definitely something that Vilixen is feeling right now. They're one game away from making it to the grand finals, but they have their work cut out for them in the next 50 seconds. This is the last chance for these teams to really kind of sharpen their tools for a final stretch fight. To have a Regieleki as predicted. I'm in the top path. Around 10 seconds is going to be available. You can see the ping on the minimap. Both teams know how important this objective is, and whoever takes it out, it might actually be an early Rayquaza fight, Tim.
Yeah, Vilixen are going for the top path push here. They really do not want to give this Regieleki over to Go Figure. That path has been broken. That is a nice 17 dunk going in. Not quite enough, but Fu, we always say it, if Vilixen can have a Rayquaza fight like they had last game, it's going to be really difficult in the face of a level 14 Absol. I think they've done really well there, not to lose any players, and just to be available and ready for this Rayquaza fight. Not giving that Regieleki over to Go Figure. But here we go, mate. Over to you for the Ray fight.
Yeah, no, they're not going to give that in, but instead they're looking for positioning and looking at the Rayquaza pit here. We're going to quickly pan down to see what's going on. Nice little side strike, but the Safeguard will be able to cleanse that in. You have a better poke coming out from Go Figure, and that's what Miraidon is trying to do, getting the enhanced charge move to go through. We're going to have a quick rip of the Rayquaza instead. No fighting needed, and he's going to be on 1 HP. Coup de grace from the Aegis Slash, securing it for Vilixen, and this is definitely a great use for them. They were behind the entire time, but as they say, when there is a Ray, there is a way, and this is a way that Go Figure did not want to go. They are still going to be behind here, but I do anticipate with the Hooper still having the shield, I think, we'll be able to get a 100 dunk in. Maybe get the team back in to this fight. Yes, they do have a shield from Rudra. Tins, can they escort these 2 players with shields to get a dunk in and kind of win the ticket into the grand finals?
Oh, they know they're there now. Go Figure has spotted the Hooper. They're going after it, but they've not seen the Mewtwo, I think, who also has a 50 points with the shield. The shield won't last as long on the Mewtwo, of course, and it looks like Go Figure might be able to see this out unless Mewtwo could teleport onto that base. He's going to get it in. The 50 goes in, Fu. That's unbelievable.
Oh! You could see the charge beam ticking down and everyone on the side of Go Figure trying to make sure that Apple does not get the score, but that is going to be enough. 30 seconds on the board. This is a heartbreaking end to this third game for Go Figure. I mean, it was truly the game to lose, wasn't it? And when you don't have a good, secure Pokemon ready to go, unfortunately, this will mean that they will go to the losers finals. But 10 seconds to go. Not going to speak too early as 40 will go through another 28. Maybe I'm eating my own words because Go Figure has now come back to score like 70 points. Wait a moment.
Mate, this is close. Because they stopped the Gengar. Gengar went for the 50 score. They got stopped by the Serena, and then the push on the bot side. This is so close. I cannot wait to see this tick over, mate. Oh.
Wait. We got to see the names to know who won that game. No, you're kidding me. That's Go Figure. Go Figure has come back from a heartbreak of a Rayquaza fight. From a heartbreak of Apple scoring to take it away with 8 points. I mean, these games kind of write themselves, don't they? And what a turn of event. What a roller coaster of emotions. This is why you never call it too early. And I'm definitely eating my own words for dinner.
Oh, Fu, I thought I saw one of the best series I've ever seen on Friday night with the EU weeklies, but that was insane. I need to come over into other regions more often because that was absolutely fire. 8 points between it. Go Figure with the last 10-second push. Wow.
I have to tell you, Tins, Go Figure has the biggest plot armor I've ever witnessed from a team tonight. They were the team that were able to secure the Rayquaza 2 games in a row with a Hooper against all odds. They are also the team that are going to be able to earn their first spot in the Grand Finals because they were able to get a reverse backup after losing the Rayquaza to a flip. So, I don't know whether that helps them or whether they're going to be the eventual winner. But if they do win this whole series, Tins, they're going to look back on this moment and realize how freaking close it was. And sometimes it's just these scores that matter, right? And, I mean, big shout out to them. They're going to be waiting for the winner of the losers final later on. But right now, it is time to celebrate for Go Figure.
Absolutely, they can go take a wallet and rest, take nothing away from Vilixum. I really thought with you, Fu, that they had done enough. We are both thinking it. The Rayquaza went over, that 100 went in from the Mewtwo, but it was just a fantastic push, wasn't it, from Go Figure? Let's take it back to the Serena, stopping the 50 going in from the Gengar as well. That is absolutely huge. Just everything working well for Go Figure there at the end.
Definitely, we're going to have a quick glance back at the Rayquaza fight. Both teams knowing they have team fight potential, but they just want to rip the Rayquaza because on the side of Vilixum, it looks good for them, doesn't it? As the Sword Unite will go through in great timing, locking that in really safely, as you can see. But they just lost too many shields in the process, especially with the Marauder, knowing that those two people are in the bush. I think that was really, really suspect, but you know, when you have an enhanced charge beam, you gotta check all these bushes, right? So they were definitely able to knock out Hooper's shield, but just this one, seeing Apple putting in the Hundo Burger, but still believing that in the next 30 seconds they can make a reverse counter score, and then to have 8 difference, that's just an under 10 score difference to make themselves in the Grand Finals. I mean, it's a great show for everyone watching at home.
Absolutely. It was a great show for us. I think I've not been more shocked watching a set in quite some time. Like, so glad I turned up today for this one. But yeah, it was huge, wasn't it? The mean look onto the Mewtwo after that score. Let's not take anything away from that because that means the Mewtwo wasn't available for the defense. There's so many things happening in that last minute, Fu, which just set the stage for it to be such a great finale. And we were not disappointed.
Yeah, well, the action will not stop as we bring back Lobo into our panel as well. Lobo, do you want to give us a quick rundown of what's been happening in the losers bracket and maybe just the bracket in general, see whether there's any updates?
Mate, I gotta find my voice again after watching that set. Holy. Well, I'll try to get some words out of here. NQ 25 taking down Hillich's 1-0. Absolute Circus taking down Tempest as well 1-0. So they are going to duke it out in our next match inside the losers round 3 after that. And they, whoever wins that fight between MQ25 and Absolute Circus is going to take on Team Vilixum, who are definitely... I want to feel like they're going to be a little bit more motivated to head back up on into those grand finals. And Vilixum, they have something to prove, but Go Figure, like you said, Fu mentioned, have some kind of plot armor. The Hooper steals in the previous round, and then coming up 2-0 against Vilixum. Tins, you wonderful, handsome man, you. How are we doing? Getting a show right now inside the India region.
Wow, Lobo, we've switched time zones, and if I wasn't awake, I am now. That was absolutely insane. Like I was saying with Fu just before, possibly, I thought I saw the best set of my casting career on Friday night, but that might have just taken it. I don't think I've ever been more shocked on a broadcast. I was almost lost for words. And for you, spectating in the background, I'm sure you must have absolutely loved it. But exciting to see what MQ25 and Absolute Circus can bring us in this next one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one as we're going to head straight in. Now, remember, teams, this is a best of one. Check out these bands going up straight away. Two Speedsters, Umbreon and Slowbro. Quite common bands right now in this new meta. Sunflower is going to pick up the Floral Cat Pokemon in Meowscarada as first pick, which means this leaves open Gengar to be picked. But Avalon's going to pick on Snorlax, such another very popular Pokemon with Mimikyu. Love seeing it get played, but not sure if the best in this current meta.
Hey, I'm excited to see that just for you, mate. But we were talking about this earlier. Snorlax, not really seen too much love. I've been playing a lot of Snorlax myself, and it feels really, really good in the current meta. Just really bulky, can just get in the faces of the speedsters. So much disruption with heavy slam block or yawn. It's got so much to its kit that can be so great in this meta. So I'm surprised we're not seeing it more. But for the opposition here, we've got Operator picking up the Trevenant and One Trick on the Blissey.
I like Trevenant. It's got a lot of displacement ability, as well as if we're going with Horn Leech or we're going with Curse, just being able to just sustain for as long as you want. Try hard. Gonna pick up that Miraidon, and maybe the name goes with the Pokemon. Who knows? I like seeing Clefable get a little bit of play here. Gravity is a good option, and I've always been a fan of that wide area of effect healing that we do get with the Moonlight ability, also being able to run that Follow Me. So I'm excited to see it, but now we're going back to a definite all-rounder who is very, very popular in Arjun GG, but an attacker that has not lost popularity right now, Tins, is that Inteleon.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it? We've seen, especially on our Friday weekly, some insane snipe shot players, some 360 no scopes, Call of Duty style, all coming out. Yeah, it's a really, really good mon. So whatever PR can bring out, talking about the Azure Spy Vision as well, Lobo, those crits do so much work. But it's going to be interesting to see a Machamp hit in the map here.
I'm interested to see if we're going to see a submission Machamp just having that muscly man with all four arms running at you with the inability to get stopped is something that I think that is going to terrify teams. There's a lot of targets that you can do, really dispositioning the Metagross away from its team, allowing Snorlax to also maybe get in a block, a heavy slam, however they want to do it, or just dispositioning anything so that Miraidon can just go in with that charge beam. Big damage potential coming out. So Metagross has to be very careful, but the same can also be said for Trevenant, being able to displace anyone from their team. Mimikyu is going to be an interesting one here with an Inteleon and a Meowscarada. I'm thinking that we might see Player Up, but Shadowclaw could also be a good shout if you want to start brawling with that Metagross.
Absolutely, yeah. The extra self-heal that provides as well, Lobo. I love the bans that have come through from these two teams, right? You've got Slowbro, Umbreon off the table, two massive speedsters that have performed so well throughout the tournament so far in Talonflame and Absol, I believe there. Yeah, we've seen all four of those being so good in this current meta. So these teams have been taking notes, and they really want to go up against Vilix in the round 4.
Allowing Absol and Talonflame is just too dangerous, honestly. Get those Pokemon at their high levels, their max levels. You get that penetration damage, especially with Brave Bird. Fly, also a very good option. Doesn't get caught very often, which means you're able to just fly out of any danger. But Meowscarada, Mimikyu going to take those central lane airs. Inteleon going to take the standard block, bottom path, basement path. But Miraidon is such a problem paired with that Snorlax.
Yeah, I love the water gun from Sobble as well. Such a great secure early game. We see a nice stat going in from the Beldam on the top side there in face of Cleffa. I'm surprised we haven't seen more Clefable, Lobo. In this current speedster heavy meta, I feel like it's such a great counter.
I agree with you, but there's something about Clefable that just doesn't feel right, I guess, with players. So they're opting for these more, I want to say, established choices that we see inside the top path. Pariah is already here with those jungle buffs. But Mimikyu's here to join it. The central laners are here Middle Altari is about to spawn up in about 10 seconds. 3v3, 2v2. Nice even splits across the lanes, Tins.
Yeah, 5 seconds to go till the first set of midbirds hits the map here. Oh, it's 3v3 in the top side now, but just got on the choke coming online. It is going to be that submission, Lobo, as they dive on in here. That is a huge pickup. Down goes the little cat, and there's a huge push. Nice bit of zoning from your favorite Mimikyu there, and that is 60-2.
Yeah, Shadow Claw is the moveset of choice, being able to brawl with the best of them, especially a Metag. But Trevenant, going down a little bit low. Operator needs to find some better operations to get their stacked and evolved into that big buff tree and really start causing some problems. But Submission Machamp is going to be scary because Metagross, who likes to go in, doesn't really like being displaced. And then you put up that gravity, and the Moonlight healing is going to be intense. But we're getting into those 8-minute Altarias. Both teams circling here, but it's only Clefable and Snorlax here for the side of Absolute Circus.
Yeah, I love what the Machoke's doing on the top side there, knowing that everybody's gone down to contest these mid-birds, which most have gone over to MQ25, I think, there, which is absolutely huge for them. Lovely heavy slam coming through from the Snorlax. Look at your favourite Mimikyu popping off here, Lobo.
Shadow Sneak to Shadow Sneak to Shadow Claw, but Inteleon picks up the KO, gets KO'd for its troubles as well. Meowscarada makes a quick escape with the double team, I believe it was, to distract, but there goes the cross drop in. We are seeing something from these region teams. They just like to fight. Submission Machamp on to the Trevenant, getting chunked out by the charge beam, and that is the strength of Miraidon. 720 on the board. Snipe shots, making sure that they just back everybody off.
Yeah, we've got another set of midbirds hitting the map here. Beautiful heavy slam going in from the Snorlax, who has to eject out of the danger there, but lovely bit of displacement. We see a submission cross-chop Machamp as well, though. We're doing all sorts of work. 5 seconds to go until these first objectives hit the map. Over to you, mate, for a big old fight coming up.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a 5v5 down the bottom side, and it's a Registeel. What a perfect objective that you definitely want to fight over. Metang is making its way down, not got that full evolution yet. Snorlax block is going to try and isolate Trevenant, who gets chunked down for about 3/4 of HP. Mimikyu is Shadow Claw, big heavy slam onto Blissey. There's a submission Machamp on it to Metang, and now it's going to have to eject out. The Thunders are raining. These team fights are going everywhere. Trevenant has gone down. Machoke has gone down as well. Registeel is on a low amount. Was it the Inteleon snipe shot that managed to secure it? Taking down the Blissey. Azure Spy Vision is going to be popped as well. And now MQ25 with the secure on the back of Inteleon are going to ride this to that basement pad.
Yeah, we see some oh, look at that snipe shot again. Secures up the huge bottom Reggie. That is a lovely bit of zoning from Inteleon's Azure Spy Vision, who dunks a huge 29 overcap in the bot side. Quick maths there. 111 to 75 Lobo. MQ25 having an absolutely insane fight in the bot side there. Taking the lead.
Yeah, they have taken the lead. The only thing that can make this better is if that Metang gets its evolution to the 4-legged metal spider. That is Metagross. Looks like it's going to go and take a little bit of that red buff, but now inside this top path, Blissey's just causing a little bit of bomb, throwing those eggs like without a care in the world. But this Regieleki is on deck. 4v4 with Miraidon here. Trevenant's going to make its way up, but Machamp is going to submission their way in and try to pick up a target, but nothing on deck yet for either Pokemon. Fable gets stacked.
Yeah, it's only a 4 overcap there. A huge snipe shot lands again on the Clefable with 2 snipe shots to say goodbye back to the home base for a bit of healing there for Clefable. Absolute Circus coming back into it here, Lobo, with a lovely team fight, but this Inteleon is just absolutely insane. It's criminal. Look at that for a triple KO. Snorlax looking really low as well. They're going to get the 4 KO streak. It looks like it. Will they go for the quadra? Did Trevenant allow it, Lobo? Oh, that is criminal.
No. At what point as a teammate do you just be like, hey, whoa, I'm on a 5 KO streak. Let me get it. James Pond is reporting for duty, but gets targeted by the Machamp with the submission, finished off by Mimikyu. Floriflora is going to come out from the Meowscarada. The objective gets taken by Absolute Circus. They've come back with a vengeance. Doesn't matter if Inteleon got the 4 KO streak. They got the objective, but now they have to push onto this pressure. Don't know if it's the best idea to go onto this pad right now, teams, with a Mimikyu entering with a 4 KO streak of its own.
Yeah, your favourite. You had the Inteleon 4 KO streak. Mimikyu said, well, I'm not letting you get away with that. Level 13 Mimikyu, by the way, on the map. Just ticked over the mid-game here. Bot basement Reggie is up, and the teams are looking to rotate down low. They're picking up some farm on the way. Smart plays.
Not too much of a points difference between these two teams. Snorlax got a little caught out. Nice block to avoid the Wood Hammer and gets healed up by the Moonlight Healing. Now we've got a Regirock on deck. Mimikyu is in the top side. Metagross is going to defend this. I think they're going to have like that. Not seeing the big chunky metal spider here to go. There goes Inteleon, gets caught by the submission into the barrage blow. Bliss Assistance has to survive the Inteleon, but the Bright Future Meteor Storm, which team has the brighter future? Submission grabs the Meowscarada. Phantom Forest gets popped. All the Unite moves are flown. Big Horn Leech to displace Snorlax and Clefairy, but it does not matter. Charge Beam is still going to do enough. Scores are raining in, but they're very, very low stores, and Mimikyu is just doing the objective whilst all of this chaos is going on. But are they going to secure this Regirock before they do? Just in time.
Lovely zone in there, allowing Mimic to pop off. Snorlax takes a big nap at the perfect time. The Flourish is out on top of that as well, Lobo. What a lovely bit of AoE. This heavy slam into the back line. Oh, look at that. Oh, this Inteleon is having an absolutely insane match. I called it before the game. Inteleon players, Lobo, know exactly what they're up to.
Oh, they 100% do. I agree with you. Metagross making sure that if they're doing a lot of the damage, Inteleon is snipping it off. Machamp misses the submission, unfortunately. But you know what? We have just flown through this match, Tins. We've hit the 3-minute mark. Let's check out these levels on the both sides of these teams, with Inteleon leading the pack, level 13, but Mimikyu level 14.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely insane, isn't it? When we get to this Rayquaza fight, I think we may just have a level 15 Mimikyu, Lobo. And you know better than anyone how much that could pop off. We've seen, right, Inteleon has been absolutely insane. But if we command a Shadow Sneak from that Mimikyu into that backline, taking out the Inteleon, they could be in trouble here, MQ25.
No, I agree with you, but also Machamp has been on Inteleon duties, but it's low health, so it's just going to walk away from this Regieleki. Not even going to bother. Going to make sure they get positioning. 176 to 98. Teams just going to seize each other out right now before they go in for the fight. I think they got to play it safe because, again, best of one, do or die for both of these teams.
Yeah, it's so close as well. Little over. It's not even 100 points between them. About 78 points as we go through it. There is a tier 1 pad up for both of these teams, Lobo. So this Rayquaza, as you so rightly said, is so, so important. Can a team sneak a 50 in? That would be enough for either of these. So, yeah, there's a little engage going on. No team really wants to go for it, mate, but it looks like here we go.
Yeah, Inteleon is just going to snipe everything possible. Trevenant is in, Metagross is in, trying to out-secure the Clefable, but what RNG luck for Clefable to hit the fly. So far, no one's going out. Blade Bait Arena with the computing crash into the play with me. Bliss Assistant comes off, barrage below. Inteleon takes out Clefable, got a KO streak of 2 on the Mimikyu. Mimikyu gets felled. There is the heavy slap to secure anything. Blissey needs to go down as well. Does go down to the submission. It is only Metagross left, and now Absolute Circus have to turn their attention to the Rayquaza. 52 seconds left. Like you said, 100 points in this, but Machamp is low health.
Yeah, how insane was that? Machamp picking up a 4 KO streak. Iron is the only one in there. Gyro Ball could do all sorts of work. This submission comes through in there with a charge beam. Look how low this is getting. It's just Meowscarada who's decided to jump bot. Can they get the rip on Absolute Circus? It seems to be taking an age, Lobo. But the other team just coming in, and there's cross chop just in time, locking that in for Absolute Circus. They need to get some points in, though.
Yeah, beautiful secure by cross-drop Machamp, and they're gonna hurry up, just pop that submission and run as quickly as you can to the base and score. Hundo Burgers coming in. Absolute Circus have taken the lead this time around, and with 8 seconds to go, I think that's going to be game, set, and match to Absolute Circus. They're gonna meet Velixum in the losers final, I believe.
Yeah, they certainly are. Velixum, who are so fantastic in that. One of the best sets I've ever seen between them and Go Figure. They are waiting patiently for Absolute Circus to come on through in our next match, Lobo. I think we'll be heading into that pretty shortly. But for now, this was an insane game, wasn't it? So back and forth between these two teams, with Absolute Circus having the best of it, and then MQ25 sort of in the mid-game really sort of coming into it.
11 KOs for both Inteleon and the Mimikyu, both duking it out, both players and Pokemon getting 4 KO streaks each. We're going to go into these highlights super quickly just to see. Hope we can get a stat of some of these insane Inteleon snipe shots, but Charge Beam Miraidon, it was proving to be so difficult for them to handle, Tins.
Yeah, it really was. There was so many great individual performances there as well as team performances. We talked about Inteleon before the game, and we saw snipe shot after snipe shot hitting targets, Azure Spy Vision with Bliss Assistance popping off. Yeah, MQ25 played an insane match, taking nothing away from them, but Absolute Circus, unfortunately, taking it in the end, and it was only a best of one, so that'll be it.
Yeah, look, and then there goes the computing crash into the Bright Future Media Storm. As we head to this Regieleki, it was still secured, and then Mimikyu came in, decided to do some cleanup. I believe this is where they got the counter 4KO streak with a secure from Snorlax of all things. Down again, Barrage Blow. Beautiful Unite move to save the Inteleon. So it's going, and again, Bright Future Media Storm, just back and forth action I'm realizing from both of these teams. We're seeing a lot of team fights come out from India, this region. They just want to brawl, they just want to fight, but I feel like that's slowly dripping into the rest of the regions as well, because even when we get to watch our EU region as well during the weeklies, these teams are more likely to fight it out with each other more than anything else, because again, at a raid fight, if you're able to team wipe the team, you know what they say, KO, sending them back to Nurse Joy is the best form of crowd control. If they can't take the Rayquaza away from you, that's the best bet. That's the best strategy, right?
Yeah, it really is, Lobo. It was funny at that Rayquaza fight, wasn't it? We saw the team Absolute Circus having 5 players on the rip there, but it just seemed the health of the Ray. It was just like invincible. It wasn't going down. I thought that MQ25 were going to get back in time and potentially get a steal on there, but yeah, in the end, Absolute Circus going up against Villuxum in our next losers round 4. Whichever team takes that between Absolute Circus, and Villuxum will go to face Go Figure in our grand finals for today. So that is going to be one hell of a game.
Go Figure have definitely got main character syndrome going on with them. Not only what happened in the very first game of the night that we watched with the 2 insane Hooper steals, but then the comeback victory in game number 3 after losing the Rayquaza. Fu called it plot armor. Can their plot armor be broken by any of these 2 teams inside the lower brackets? We're not going to have to wait too long, because once again, these lower rounds are going to be best of ones. Team Villuxum versus Absolute Circus. We've been told matches are on the way. We're going to head right on in to the draft, Tins. And this is on, because Villuxum is on your purple side, as well as Absolute Circus is going to be on your orange side. Talonflame banned out straight away.
Yeah, great target for a ban. These India teams love, like you said, Lobo, love a team fight, and they love to get these matches underway quick. It's very refreshing, actually, how quickly these matches are just flying onto our screens today. But Talon and Absol straight out of it here. Are we going to see a similar bans coming through from these teams, or are we going to see a couple of defenders potentially? Is a Clefable interesting, Lobo?
I like the Clefable ban makes sense as opposed to, if they don't want to deal with a speedster that has a lot of mobility. And now we're going to see that Gengar is the only speedster that is left on the board. How do you think our boy Tano is feeling about the Gengar boss right now? We know that they love Gengar so much. They must be having an absolute ball with this current meta. And as we say it, Arish is going to pick up that Gengar very, very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Gengar is just insane, isn't it? With Talon, Absol, and Meowscarada, all the targets of those bans and the targets of some insane buffs during the recent patch. The only one left and the only viable pick is that Gengar. I love what they've done in reply here, though, picking up Blissey and Umbreon.
Safeguard is a great option into here just to cleanse away any of that CC that allows for the combo moves from Gengar to come out. Psyduck into Tyranitar. Oh my god. Psyduck is already probably one of the most annoying Pokemon supporters to actually deal with. And so to have a Psyduck that is now going to cause problems all over the field and make sure, like, if Apple can get online, this Tyranitar is going to be a problem. Tryhard's going to bring out the Miraidon once again, because I think that's great. Just being able to put consistent damage on it to Tyranitar so that it doesn't have the chance to just rampage towards you. And Jinga's going to pick up the Machamp again. You think we're going to see that submission moveset once again?
Yeah, I think there's a really good chance of that, especially with the Tyranitar in your face and potentially your favourite Mimikyu by Oreo here. Note, they're deciding not to go for that in the end. Is it going to be a comfy lock-in? Comfy Tyranitar will be absolutely disgusting. So would Hooper with those either resets with the hyperspace or the trick as well with the shield and speed buff. Oh, Lobo, this is going to be a real exciting match. Just the only thing that's worrying is, can T-Tar get online in the face of a team comp that's definitely sort of a bit more early game here?
It depends whether T-Tar's going to head into that central area or not. I think the last time we saw Vindixen play, they headed T-Tar into that top path alongside the EXP share, Gengar and Aegislash. Gengar makes a more, I want to say, compelling choice for that central laner apart from T-Tar because it needs that high scaling. But we've seen Gengar played in that basement lane as well. Aegislash is really, really good once it gets to that Doublade stage, access to that Sacred Sword. But I like this as well. So what I'm seeing is Wideguard is there to stop any kind of submission nonsense with the submission Machamp. And now we've got Delphox coming up, whether they're going to play that Fire Spin moveset. There is just CC across the board. So now we have a possibility with Umbreon Mean Look, Delphox Fire Spin, Machamp submission. Holy tins. Is Tryhard even going to be touched in this game?
I don't know. It's really interesting to see, isn't it, how sort of late game Team Villixum are here. You've got Gengar, which we were talking about, takes so long to get going. Tyranitar takes so long to get going. If these teams cannot sort of have a really strong early game here in the face of sort of Machamp, Umbreon, Miraidon, all mons that are pretty good from the start. And what about this Delphox pick? That is almost just criminal into sort of Aegislash T-Tar that really want to get in your face and brawl.
Gengar is going to be hunting Delphox. Emma Frost on that Gengar wants to make sure that they put the burns instead of the ice onto that Gengar rickshaw. But Gengar is such a slippery Pokemon. If they're able to get behind enemy lines and take down Tryhard on that Miraidon, take down Delphox as well, that support is all gone. But let's not forget, Fanciful Fireworks is one of the most useful Unite moves in the game. But no more speculation from us, Tins. It's on game number 1. One and done inside losers brackets finals, and with this team game, they are waiting for that grand finals.
Absolutely, the winner of this goes up against Go Figure in our grand finals today. We've got Villixum on your purple side, Circus on your orange side. It looks like we've got an invade coming straight through from Hoop here, trying to put some pressure early doors onto that Delphox.
Yeah, but look, Blissy's seen the Hooper, and Psyduck has also come to help out as well. What are the scenes that we're witnessing here? Is Hooper going to get away? Is Delphox going to get their evolution? They are still with that red buff. Unfortunately, Hooper going to take a quick visit to Nurse Joy, but Machop managing to get a few stacks of their own. Nice little distraction, nice little chaos. Is exactly the way I expected this lower bracket finals to go.
Absolute circus. Currently have 4 players in their jungle. Lobo. We're 1 minute in. Oh, look how low. That is huge Dream Eater from the Gengar. Now we're going to get a lovely little dunk in there. That's going to allow Aegislash to get some points in as well. Great start from Villixum. They went for the invade. They made sure that Absolute Circus had to deal with it. 4 players into that jungle area. Now Villixum locking up all of those midbirds here on the top part.
Yeah, Absolute Circus need to deal with whatever was going on inside that central area Psyduck. We know how strong it is. You just can't, once it's in your area, you just cannot get it away. Stop feeding it the crumbs. You know, that's where the ducks like to get attracted to, right, Tins? But nice little push on here. 13 being scored by Machoke. Central area birds coming up for 25 seconds, but I think teams just want to fight it out. Ow! Pupitar gets taken down by Umbreon. And Miraidon's going to put pressure on this bottom lane against this Hooper.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about, wasn't it? It's important sort of not to get taken out when you're playing these sorts of mons that need that experience. We've got 5 seconds to go, Lobo, until the first set of midbirds. The match is flying past. To say this every game because there's so much action, so much has happened already. Looks like Villixum are the only ones interested.
Psyduck is there, Haunter is there, Delphox is just trying to make sure that central area is their own, with Umbreon just proving to be a little nuisance. But with Hooper and Psyduck there, Umbreon can't do much except just back it on up. Look at where Pupitar is going. Steals a Citrus Berry, but gets caught by the Mean Look, but steals away the farm. I mean, if you need a Tyranitar, Tins, all that farm is good farm, right?
Yeah, it really is, but that's the second time we've seen Pupitar go down now, sat at level 6. You've got 20 seconds to go till the first objectives hit the map, Lobo. You sort of want to be heading towards level 9 by that point. So, yeah, it's good to see that the Gengar for Villixum is really close to 9. Had a real good start here. It is a Gengar, in fact. They've had a really effective start. 49-49 on the scoreboard. Let's take nothing away from that. But we really need to see this T-Tar get online early.
Yeah, that charge beam just chunked down Gengar's health, and now it's looking to chunk down Pupitar's health. The hyperspace hold goes up, but again, Miraidon is just going to put on the big damage we see as we rotate down. It is a Reggie steal. Could you imagine if Felixum were managing to contest this with the Tita? It could be a great help, but Gengar being level 9 is also an incredible feat. Blissey managing to get the secure. Gengar is in, trying to get any kind of KOs that they can. Bright Future Meteor Storm rains down as it picks up a KO, but Machoke picking up a KO on the Gengar. And Pupitar, I think, is going to try and score top lane, get online, start rampaging, but I don't think Absolute Circus are done with this bottom part just yet.
Absolutely not. It's really good to see Pupitar going up there, noticing where the whole of Absolute Circus is, try and get themselves online. Very smart play there. I'm very interested, Lobo, with the pick of the Delphox. It is a Mystical Fire Delphox with the lovely flame charge. That is going to be real difficult for Vilixen to deal with, because what do they really have that can sort of get into that backline apart from the Gengar?
They need to chase down that Delphox, and that Delphox with that moveset, like you are, absolutely hit the nail on the head. It has gone in, but Tyranitar has gone in as well with the Stone Edge. Beautiful, fanciful fireworks. Gengar taking the Regieleki inside that top path. Umbreon picking up a KO on sword. Bright Future Meteor Storm rains down once again, and Vilixen have dropped. And it is only Aegislash alive coming back into this one. And now I think Absolute Circus are going to make sure, absolutely, that they make sure to take this one down. Couldn't get the quick math in there quite yet.
No, we could have had a 17 Dunkin followed by that insane overcap, but what a lovely bit of play it was in that bush, Lobo. The fanciful fireworks came in to slow down the opponents, then a barrage blow came through as well. Absolutely disgusting. Circus have taken the lead here. It is a close game, though. T-Tar online, level 10 now, out of nowhere.
They are not afraid of Elixir. They were just chasing that down because they know they have the reset potential with this Hooper. Only, 11 points into this at the 5-minute mark. These teams have been fighting it up, but they've also been scoring. Gengar is here. Miraidon is the answer to really just keeping everyone away. And this Delphox is, I think, an inspired pick with the Mystical Fire Flame Charge. 5 seconds to this bottom. Rayquaza, the two all-rounders. Hooper and Machamp are duking out inside the top part. It's going to be a 4v4 down here. Tyranitar thinks twice because it gets thundered into submission, but they're just going to make their way on to this Regirock. I think the fight's going to go on. Psyduck awfully low, pops the infinite Psy. Tyranitar goes in as well. The Hooper portal is there. Who's going to secure that one? It is going to be Hooper for the side of Vilixen to take the Regirock off the pad, and now they're going to push forward onto this basement pad.
That was so unfortunate. I don't know if you caught it there. The Gengar got taken back to the home base while in Phantom Ambush somehow. That was so unfortunate. As a huge barrage blow comes in on the fence there from Machamp, picking up KO streaks all over here. Now doing the great bit of zoning with the submission. That is a 21 dunk. The next cap is going to be huge. I think that's a 30 over cap or something. Absolutely insane from Absolute Circus. They are playing so well. This Delphox was a really nice pick.
Yeah, look at how swiftly it's able to kite. Even Tyranitar is not able to trap it in that sand, which it wants to do. But Tins, we've got a minute until the 3-minute mark. You know, usually at that 3-minute mark, Unite moves are off the board. No Pokemon actually have Unite moves at all, except for Aegislash with that coup de grace. But look at all of those yellow dots on the map. Look at Aegislash here being cornered by Machamp and Blissey. But Gengar is here to provide backup to its ghost counterpart. Wait till it gets taken down. Submission. Is Gengar going to be caught out here? Delphox is here to help. That is, again, when it comes to necessary engages, you got to really pick it at this point, because now you're just giving levels away.
Yeah, that was so important from, it was unfortunate actually from the Gengar. Landed a Dream Eater, I think it was, onto the farm, which then teleported it right into a submission. Very unfortunate actually, but that is a Regieleki going over to Absolute Circus. They have got the lead, Lobo, heading into the last sort of 50 seconds here. 20 seconds for a basement Regi. Are they going to decide to head down there and pick this up, or make a push maybe? It's a nice experience for Vilixen to take down that Regieleki, get a few more points on the board. We should have a level 13 T-Tar, but here's another fight, mate.
Oh, another fight already popping off as Machamp and the combination with the Delphox managed to take down the Gengar. Does the Aegislash manage to get away on an HP in a dream? Yes, it does. Delphox is kiting this Tyranitar beautifully. Picks up a KO with 20 seconds to go until the Rayquaza. It is back. Let's not worry about it too much since they're back in 10 seconds. But I think Absolute Circus are going to look to position strongly for this Rayquaza fight.
Yeah, 10 seconds to go. The viewers do not have to wait much longer for this fight to pop off. It is going to be so important, this Delphox in this fight, I believe. Nobody fancied the basement Reggie and the buffs it provides. Machamp looking to hit a huge barrage blow from below. Look how low they got there. Absolutely insane. Going to have to take a trip back to the home base for some healing because Blissey can't do it. Lobo, over to you, my friend.
Nurse Joy works quickly, but Hooper has called the roll call. They go in. There it comes in. The Fanciful Fireworks goes down. Umbreon pops it to Unite as well. Tyranitar goes down to the Miraidon. Machamp takes down Aegislash, and that is almost a team wipe. It is a team wipe for the side of Absolute Circus, proving once and absolute that they are the ones that are going to go and take on, go figure, inside the grand finals. But they have to get the Hundo Burgers in. They're coming in, Tins. Maybe I spoke too soon. There's still time for a counter push.
Yeah, we saw it earlier, didn't we, with that insane set where there was only 8 points in it. Go figure, to get themselves into the grand finals. But there is over a minute left here. Can Villixa mount a huge push? That bot pad is up. Delphox and Umbreon, I fear it could be over, because if Delphox can get that Unite move up quickly, that can defend a pad for a good solid 5 seconds at least.
I agree with you, and Delphox is one of those Pokemon that gets its Unite move back super quickly, but it's not there to defend the Tier 1 right now. We know that Tyranitar, it can break through all those shield damages. Me look onto the side, Aegislash is going to try and break these shields. Are they just going to give up this Tier 1? I think they are. 28 goes in. Double stack goes in. 28-34. 191 to 399. They still have to score 200 more points, but now Umbreon has been taken down as we move across. Barrage blow on to Tyranitar. Tyranitar gets taken down, and that was their main attack force, but Gengar is here, moving and grooving, but no, another team wipe for Absolute Circus, proving without a shadow of a doubt who wins this game.
Oh, Jenga has played out of their minds on this Machamp. What a huge barrage blow into an eject, I think it was, to pick up the Psyduck into the cross chop. That's going to be another 50 points. They still have the shield, couldn't quite get that in, but that would have been the icing on the cake for an absolutely insane performance from them. What a player.
Yeah, unbelievable scenes. It was an incredible attempt at a push, especially when you have something like a T-Tar, but there were just too many shields up for the side of Absolute Circus for them to really do anything. Honestly, they tried. They got a few KOs. Umbreon went down, but the Machamp with the barrage blow onto the Tyranitar, taking out the Tyranitar as they pushed onto that base, was probably the biggest threat that they had to do. And let's just have a look at all the damage. Look at the Miraidon damage. 104k. Nothing was stopping that Miraidon from doing any damage. Battle report especially not too bad. It seemed quite early up until the mid game, until 6 minutes, where teams were jostling for position, and then Absolute Cinema just decided to take that lead.
Yeah, the draft from Absolute Circus was just really good. Like the Delphox pick into what Tyranitar into Aegislash, it's just so good. The moveset they went for, you know, like we said, it could have been so easy to go for the Fire Spin, which is a little easier to play, but going for that Flame Charge Mystical Fire, I don't think I saw Delphox get KO'd a single time, Lobo. Into the opposing draft, that was a masterful pick.
Yeah, look, we saw this multiple times. Flame Charge and the Mystical Fire was just able to kite away. We thought the Gengar's main target should have been that Miraidon and that Delphox. But again, with Delphox doing such a brilliant job kiting, if Gengar goes in and doesn't get the KO, it's just caught out in no man's land. But now, as you can see, just again, even with the speedster meta, some attackers are quite viable right now. And Delphox, again, probably not the pick that any of us would have picked. Honestly, you know, even when I did mention it earlier on when we were talking about possible viabilities of attackers that can be used alongside, you know, Alolan Ninetales, Miraidon, Inteleon. Delphox, I thought, with the Fire Spin moveset would have been viable, but I never once thought Flame Charge would be doing such a good job, kiting all of these speedsters.
No, absolutely right. As we saw that huge period of play again with the fanciful fireworks into the barrage blow, absolutely disgusting there. But yeah, there's a few attackers right now, isn't there, that are still really viable. Things like a Pikachu for the pure stuns that it provides on these speedsters. You've got Sylveon for the sustain, Mystical Fire, and Draining Kiss moveset. There's just these mons that we don't really see picked up. Delphox, not one you expect, but was so effective. Always been a great counter to T-Tar.
Look, we have not seen Sylveon been played just yet. We know that the ability to sustain right now in this meta being because these speedsters are just able to one-shot you. So we haven't seen anyone pull out the Sylveon yet. I'm very excited for when they do, especially when they pull off these off-the-cuff choices like the Delphox. But again, here we go. This final push here. Tyranitar doing a great job, but Machamp, again, submission into the barrage blow. Fantastic game. And that seals it up for Absolute Cinema. They are going to take on the eagerly awaiting Go Figure. But before we do that, you and I are going to take a break because those last two games were, they took the breath out of me. I wonder if they took the breath out of you, buddy.
Yeah, they got a little sweat on over here. That was absolutely insane. But I think we're going into the grand finals next with yourself and Fu. So I'm going to take a sit back, have a cup of tea, and just enjoy this next set. But I think that's it, Lobo. We'll be headed to a break. And yeah, these guys will be back shortly for some more Unite action.
Don't go anywhere.
All right, hello everybody. We're here with none other than Nachos from Komite Esports. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm fine, and you?
I am good, buddy. It has been electric here at the EUIC 2025. How has it been competing at this regional level here in London?
I'm really happy about what we did. Even if today we lost, it's still fine because we played really well. I think not today, but the day on the stage, we played well. And I really enjoyed the moment.
What was it like hearing that crowd hyping your entire team up the way that they did here?
Honestly, when I was on stage, I could not hear.
Could you still hear your teammates and everything on the headsets and all that?
Yeah,
Good. I mean, the whole Pokemon Unite community for EU has got behind this team.
I saw.
We've seen you come, you compete in the Engage weeklies on a weekly basis for Komite Esports. We've seen you develop as a team so much to the point where you nearly took down the world champions in Luminosity Gaming. How does it feel to know that that came down to just one final hit on Rayquaza?
I mean, that's really sad because honestly, most of the game we were doing better than them.
Yes.
And we lost on so little.
Low.
And when they won, it was on so little. The only game they won, it was I think the last game. So otherwise we just lost on so little. And I feel really bad because I saw the final and I really think it would have been an easy win against the Fusion team, Paris.
Well, either way, you played an amazing game. Your whole team played an amazing tournament. We'd be very excited to see you play on at the next. Are you going to be looking at going to any other regionals if you win some final stretches and stuff like that? Is that the plan?
I'll find out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, great. Well, it's been awesome chatting to you anyways, Nachos. I wish you the best of luck with the rest of your campaign.
Thanks.
Back, trainers, gamers, uniters, and players. I am joined once again by the wonderful It's Me, Fur, my man. Did you have a chance to catch that finals game? Delphox being picked up of all things. I know you and I have had conversations about viable attackers, but I don't think anywhere we thought that Delphox, especially the Flame Charge Delphox, would have such a big effect onto that previous game.
Yeah, I also saw Machamp doing very well. I think Machamp is kind of the hidden gem in this current meta, especially submission as well, because when you have speedsters that are maybe a little bit hard to catch, the fact that you can isolate them with a grab is a great way for your team to get the engage on. So I do anticipate Absolute Circuits, maybe we're going to bring them out for the finals as well. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a best of 5, but go figure, coming through the winner's bracket will have an advantage in the form of a game.
Yeah, and Go Figure are going to be your team on the purple side, with Absolute Circus are going to be your team on the orange side. Mimikyu, Psyduck, Gengar, and Absol being banned, which means Meowscarada, Talonflame are available to be called up to the roster for. I'm curious as to where Nightmare's going to go, and it's going to be that Talonflame they hover over straight away.
Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised if Kai takes this instead, and they will do just that. So Meowscarada available for their team. I'm keen to see whether the opposite team will actually pick this up. We've seen people actually neglect the other speedsters, depending on whether the team can play or not. We do have Blissey and Umbreon available, Lobo, so maybe VO will be able to pick that up for their team.
Oh, I really like what Avalon is hovering over Slowbro and Umbreon both picked up instead of the Blissey. Now, I like this. A nice, good counter into that Talonflame, whether Slowbro and Mean Look is going to be effective here. I wonder. But Beast is going to pick up the second speedster that is available from the recent buff patch. But Tragedy going to pull out another main character performance once again, do you think, on that trusty Hooper?
Yeah, I think the goal of Absolute Circus now, having picked Umbreon and Slowbro, is to play that anti-speedster strategy, especially if they know they're going to be giving away Meowscarada to Beast. I mean, they have the opportunity to play the other, not buffed speedsters, but with a Pikachu and a Machamp, I think my prediction is going to be correct there with Tryhard putting it in. I mean, Volt Tackle is actually great into Meowscarada, and as soon as Talonflame lands, we're going to be able to grab it with Jinga's Machamp as well. So, I mean, there is going to be one last Pokemon available to be picked up by Frost, which is going to be the main central area character, and Legend and Nightmare available to round off their draft. I mean, we've seen Nightmare play Serena before, but, a Blastoise is not going to be able to be too bad here either, especially if we have a Comfey on board.
No, I agree with this pick. I like this pick, honestly. We haven't seen Blastoise too much, but countering anything would serve to just give those speedsters a little bit more access to just have Pokemon locked down on the side of Absolute Circus here. Blastoise can do that effectively with those Surfs or Hydro Punch, but we could even see a Rapid Spin. But Emma Frost, like you called, Central Area Ceruledge. How are you feeling about this pick, Ceruledge, into that Meowscarada Talonflame speedster composition?
I think it's great. I mean, no one has full heal except for the Hooper here. So the Revenant Ren will be able to do a lot of damage if they hit the right target. And I think Beast, if they are going to be playing double team, will be a difficult way for Emma Frost to actually locate the proper target. But like I said, if you have lockdown moves such as Volt Tackle and Submission, it'll make their life a little bit easier. And don't forget, Avalon has the ultimate lockdown move with Slow Beam.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I'm interested to see what kind of moveset Kai is going to play here. I don't think we've seen them play Braper just yet. It's just, I think it's been mostly that fly moveset, because even if they do get locked down by that Mean Look, they are able to just take to the skies, avoid any kind of damage, and at least try to run out the timer on Mean Look. So on paper, these two team compositions are quite nice. Speedster heavy on one side, Comfy Blastoise to provide a little bit of lockdown and a little bit of stun, Hooper to reset as well, and the speedsters to do some damage. But on the opposite team, we've got the lockdown Slowbro, Umbreon, Pikachu. Really strong combinations, especially with the Volt Tackle Electro Ball. So I like this game. Game one, countering each other's picks. I think that's what Absolute Circus have gone for. So I'm curious to see if on paper it works as well in the real game, because anything could happen when you get into game, right, Fu?
Yeah, it's going to be the clash between kind of the yin and yang, right, of the current meta, whether you're going to be hard diving, abusing the fact that these speedsters are, quote unquote broken, or are you going to be that defense where you can, invite them to come in, get into your space, but, lock them down, right, with the Pokemons that are in your roster. So as we get started off here, no invades from both teams, as the Eevee will be able to prevent if someone from a Go Figure comes through, and Jinga on top, trying to not get punished from stacking.
Unable to get that secondary piece of palm, are just able to try and make their way out there as the little bit chopped they are, but they don't. Gets hunted down by Squirtle, sent back to Nurse Joy very early inside this bottom path. Hooper and Meowscarada as Sprigatito putting on some pressure. But Squirtle's, I think, a really nice choice inside this top path, providing all those stuns into the acrobatics, like we saw there, even before these Altaria spawn.
Yeah, carry Blastoise is always a great pick, I think, especially going into Pokemons where you are going to be able to provide that Hydro Typhoon for your team to kind of crash down But, you know, they probably won't be able to go for the spin set here because we do have a submission Machamp that I think that they're going to be playing as Jingo is going to get prepared to lock down some of these farm as well. Nice little acrobatics go in. Everyone is so low, and with the auto attack coming out from that Flatinda, I mean, that is going to be a nice feast for Go Figure to start off this game.
They are putting pressure all over the map. Even so, on this bottom side, they're eating well. Talonflame is already online, and I like this from the Talonflame. They were looking to possibly go in and really stall this Cerule Edge out inside that central area, and also Umbreon still not online yet, so Talonflame going to try and take as much away, and Hooper looks like they're going to go try and assist that as well, but it looks like free reign in this bottom path for Beast on that Meowscarada.
Just especially difficult, I think, for a Cerule Edge being 2 levels down, or 3 levels now compared to Talonflame over here, as we have a pan up top, a fight between Nightmare and Jinga. I mean, a Machoke against the Wartortle. You don't really expect Wartortle to really win this fight, and with Emma Frost also there, they're going to be able to knock that out and get some crucial stacks of themselves, as we anticipate the next bit of fight will come out at around the 720 mark.
Yeah, look, those central area bees went and gone, and these teams are just fighting it up in either lane. But Talonflame picking up a KO streak of 2. That is crazy inside that top fight, fighting on. Having a Comfy attached to this Talonflame is kind of crazy because they are having their way. But they could get a nice big overdunk, which is exactly what they're going to do. And Comfy actually making it better, getting that 5-score in quickly. And I think Talonflame is just going to spend some time hunting around the rest of this map. Looking at this bottom side, Altari's have spawned.
Yeah, we'd have double team now available for Beast as well. They are on their way to get their Flora Flourish for this basement fight, as the Reggie will be coming up. Our first ones of today's grand finals, as we have a lot of members of Absolute Circus already circling there. Main target is for sure this Talonflame, as the Volt Tackle will be able to lock on, but the Fly to reduce the damage and be invincible throughout that fight will be able to maybe save them. No, the Electro Ball knocking them out from the Umbreon as well. The Moonlight Prance will be able to grab back some of that XP for their team. Nice little KO from the Cerule Edge to unlock the level 8 for them, and they're going to be able to quickly rip this Reggie at the bottom. It's going to be a Regice though, with a nice bit of zoning coming out from Avalon as well. This Meowscarada trying the best to get in, but yet again, Mean Look, such a kryptonite to these speedsters.
Speaking of that, Mean was the one that trapped the Talonflame. Wasn't even able to use Flame Sweep to get out of a sticky situation. Fly not long enough. But Machamp catching Meowscarada, popping, forcing the eject out of the very bad kitty, as it just has to run away. Again, Go Figure seem to have the level lead. They have the base lead. But now it seems like Absolute Circus, as they take a KO on the Meowscarada, are just getting the upper hand in terms of these fights right now, Boo.
Oh, big lockdown again. Just the Volt Tackle into the submission. Has to bait out their Flame Sweep to get out of there. As we quickly pan up top to see what Nightmare's doing. They're going to be able to get some of those farmed for their Unite moves as we prepare for another fight potentially of that Reggie Alecki upstairs. I mean, these teams need to understand that it's probably not worth brawling out, right, until we have the Unite moves, and with a Hooper portal available, and as soon as they get vision on Jenga, not going to be able to score that 40.
I think try and tell these teams that brawling is not worth it, because no matter throughout the entire tournament we have just seen these teams brawl. It looks like we're going to get another brawl for this Reggie Lecky.
Oh, Flower Trick went a bit too early, but that doesn't matter. The Talonflame is going to be there for the secure as the Flora Flourish shreds down Viol. The Umbreon going back in, and so will the other 2 members of Absolute Circus. Umbreon also going down. This is a detrimental time now for Absolute Circus. They only have a Pikachu to defend this Regieleki, and even though it's electric type as well, it will get drowned out, you think, by the Hydro Pump of the Blastoise. However, luckily, they were able to defend this Regieleki with the members coming back in. No pressure here now. But I love the fact that Kai has just been relentless, right? If it doesn't work up top side, you can come bottom immediately with your Fly. You know, if you're going to be there earlier with your Hooper as well, it makes it so hard for Absolute Circus to know where you're going.
No, I agree. Talonflame is just the maneuverability on this Pokemon, especially surrounded by a Comfy, be able to get in and out, going to opposite directions. Have a look at where Meowscarada and Talonflame are right now inside that top path. They just want to keep this score lead high, as Absolute Circus, are just trying to put some pressure on. But roll call has happened from the Hooper to bring the other 2 species down.
Yeah, this is really smart from Go Figure as well. They're going to be able to use the nice flame swoop into it, eating up the Revenant Ren, but doesn't matter. Comfy's there as a pseudo-focus band. Thunderstorm to light up the sky. However, it is going to be Go Figure with more members available as the Slowbro is still coming down to help out the fight. Fly goes through, deletes the Umbreon, so Mean Look is not going to be a problem anymore as we have the submission to come through. Jinga trying the best to hit the bird that could. However, with the Fly consistently providing those iframes, it's just such a difficult task for this Machamp.
Fly also managed to completely dodge the slow beam. Slow beam, I think, was hit onto the Hooper with tragedy as well. So not the intended target, but look at where Kai has gone through. They're going to try and get a double 40, 34 and a 40 into home base. The absolute audacity and the Hooper highway to send everybody top lane to stop these pads from being broken.
Yeah, this is a masterclass of a Hooper player. They know exactly how to maneuver their team, and a lot of the time support players play such an important part in the team's macro. You have a nice little grab onto Kai, but yet again it's going to be the Flower Trick Fly combo to knock them out. Avalon stuck between the bird and the kitty will also get knocked down. Make that a case sugar 3 for your Masquerada as Beast looks for more, starving out the enemy team, making sure that there's not even a chance for Absolute Circus to come back in terms of levels. I mean, we're talking about a level 14 Talonflame here. It is definitely no joke.
Again, Tins has said it many, many times. Where does the time go in this game? Look at the top path. There's 3 members of the top path of the side of Absolute Circus trying to go there. Their Talonflame has seen them. Sorry, they're going to head on into the top path. Blastoise managing to get a secure on that Regieleki. Now, Absolute Circus are in a big bind right now, Fu. They have to stop this Regieleki, but they have to stop it with 10 seconds to go because otherwise that's walking into home. And now with a Hooper, it opens up the door to so many possibilities. Go to home base, score. Go for the team fight, score, because someone has to take it. But it looks like Machamp has decided to just let the Regieleki walk in. And now it's decision time for Go Figure. They're going to rip, they're going to take the fight, but here we go. I think decision time is now.
I mean, they do have the benefit of a numbers advantage as this Machamp is stuck in Regieleki jail down at the home pad. We have Masquerada starting already. I mean, they do have a 300-point lead. They need to make some sort of advantage from this, though. I feel like wasting the Regieleki walking in is not really an opportunity you want to do. I mean, nothing's happening from the side of Go Figure. Maybe they're a little bit just concerned about the fact that Avalon will have their Unite move. So not really the place for either of the species to go in, but you know, as the Machamp is now back into the Rayquaza pick Lobo, I do want to see where this Blastoise is going as it has a nice little flank on the team. We might see an engage there. Blastoise is going to surf in. Hydro Typhoon to knock out 3 members, but a nice little Moonlight Prance to steal all the shields, and it's going to be the Talonflame and the Comfy knocked out on the side of Go Figure. Electric Ball knocks out Masquerada as well, and I know we have a Hooper to come through. It is Tragedy's time to shine. We've seen it done beforehand in our 2 games before. A K-Streak of 4 on the side of Pikachu. And guess what? Tragedy's going to say, maybe this is going to be a different type of gaming. We have a Pikachu and Umbreon. This gives me ample time to get a score. Boosting our lead, and here we go. Rayquaza is low. Electro Ball ready to go through. Tragedy waiting in. Doesn't matter. We have the Pikachu to secure the Rayquaza, but a high mountain to climb in 20 seconds. We need as many scores as possible, Lobo.
Yeah, I agree, but look at this. There, I think Machamp's going to get a score in. We've got the Umbreon has no shield. A Hundo Burger goes in. Even if there's another Hundo Burger that's going to come in through, it's going to mean the game is even. It means the game is even, which means whoever got to the score first. No, I think Machamp breaks that even score, but it does not matter. Oh, that's a close one, because I believe the scores were going to be the same. It was going to be 446 to 346 when Cerulege got the 100 in. But then we saw an 8-point come in from Machamp. No, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. Wait.
Yeah, I didn't know where you're going with that, Lobo, but I also did not get to see the scores to go through. But it is going to be Go Figure to take this first game. So means because they are from the winners bracket, it's going to be 2-0 for their team. So, I mean, I saw an opportunity, I think, for team Absolute Circus to come back into the game, but unfortunately, with just a Pikachu and Umbreon, they weren't able to rip that Rayquaza there, Lobo, and Fortunately, time ticks down, time stops for nobody, so not enough scores were able to go in.
I'm just trying to figure out what I saw, because I saw the 440 and then I saw Absolute Circus were also on 345. So I thought the scores would have been exactly the same, unless I'm completely mistaken. And then I saw the Cerule Edge go for 100 points in. I could be, I'm mistaken, obviously, but I saw 100 points in that could have made it even. I thought that score was going to go a lot closer, but I think it's tragedy again. A smart play to really go and score that 40 because they knew they had time, right? Umbreon and Pikachu are not going to rip that Rayquaza in enough time.
Yeah, and I think they even had a look at the secure there, but the big thing about Pikachu is that Electrical will provide that execute damage. I think 10% is the correct statistic, so definitely very favored, and I think we'll be very surprised if Hooper actually got that secure, but I mean, at the end of the day, building up such a big lead was all because of Kai and the Comfey. Like I said before, they didn't really care about a lot of the basement objectives. It's all about putting pressure up top, and as soon as they saw an opportunity to break this top pad, you can see here, Hooper bringing them back down, they were able to go back to the home pad of Absolute Circus to make sure that their lead is, nearly 300 points, right? And we mentioned it before, and it's something that Vilixum tried to do. If you have a score that is in such lead, it doesn't really matter anymore on whether they get Rayquaza or not.
And this Ray fight here, Hydro Typhoon into the Hooper Unite, into the Umbreon Unite, into the Thunderstorm from the Pikachu. We thought Tragedy would pull up another classic steal. 3 games in a row, there's no way that they would be able to do that. But see, there's the Cerule Edge 100 points that I thought was going to make the difference. But then I think I missed 100 points somewhere else on the map where Go Figure were able to go. But that puts Go Figure 2-0 up in this grand finals. Now we know this is a best of 5. You've got Go Figure with a game in hand. So instead of 1-0, they are now 2-0 up. So now this is the decider if Go Figure managed to take this and make it 3-0 in these grand finals.
Yeah, this is definitely the game that Go Figure wants to continue to win, because that will mean they will have a clear sweep of the competition and only dropping 1 game to Vilixum. We will see what the bans are shortly, folks. We have the Psyduck now and the Absol being the first 2 on the ban jail, and it's up to Legend, I guess, and Emma to kind of pick up the other 2. We're going to have Mimikyu and Umbreon. So for the first time, I guess, we will have the other 3 speedsters now. Yet again, I've been preaching Gengar, but these teams seems to not want to bring them up.
Oh, Slowbro getting picked over Umbreon, so which means Umbreon's going to be free. I wonder if Kai is going to quick select that Talonflame in once again. Usually Nightmare's in that first position, and last game we did see the quick draw of Talonflame, and there it is. But now it's on the side of Absolute Circus to see if they want to take the other 2, because Gengar and Meowscarada are available. But I wonder if they want to go for other options. What do you make? Do they go for the Speedsters, or do they go for a Speedster lockdown?
I think I'm consistently surprised that they would ban out an Absol instead of Kai's Talonflame. I think Talonflame was really the problem in that last game, and banning out Slowbro really makes not a lot of sense considering the fact that they like to play anti-speedster anyway. I think it cuts themselves instead, but having Snorlax being in the field finally might mean we might see a flail. I'm not too sure what the go is here for both these teams, but Go Figure, I mean, it didn't cause any problems last time for their team, so I mean, why not pick up the Hooper, right? Why not pick up the Talonflame again? And Nightmare is going to take away the Submission Machamp from Jinga.
I think Submission Machamp was probably the biggest concern for the side of Go Figure in that previous game. So taking it away from them makes sense. Jinga's actually going to pick up another speedster inside Leafeon, and Pikachu is going to be picked up against by Tryhard. I think Pikachu was quite good in that first game, really hitting those Volt tackles mainly onto Kai, and a lot of the time it was the Volt tackle into the submission that really caused a lot of the KOs onto Kai. But now there's another speedster, probably one of the scariest speedsters, I think, in my opinion, in all honesty, in this current meta that we've got going. It's a Gengar, and Legend's going to go with Comfy. If they're going to go around scoring again, Absolute Circus really have to find a way to deal with that.
They really do, and I'm very happy that Beast has actually picked up this speedster themselves, but their whole team comp looks a little bit more squishy, right, compared to what Absolute Circus has brought up to the table. I mean, Metagross is a Pokemon that we talk about being the other all-rounder killer. However, here it needs to really take down some of these speedsters instead. I'm not sure whether the matchup is really great for the Metagross here because Gengar is really hard to catch, and so is Talonflame. And I think if you do allow both these speedsters on the side of Go Figure to get the stacks, this Metagross is not going to have anyone to gyro ball. I mean, they're going to be off the screen or in iframes most of the time. So I'm keen to see how Tryhard actually plays this game.
It's also kind of scary when you have a look at Nightmare on the Machamp. Submission Machamp has the ability to completely displace every Pokemon on the side of Absolute Circus. So it's going to be also about not only do you have to worry about the scariness of Talonflame and Gengar, not only those two Pokemon are going to be paired with a Comfey, but now Machamp is going to be running at you, trying to displace you away from the rest of your team, which then just allows the two species to jump on top of you. So that combination seems way scarier than I think. But it's going to be, I think, on the chance of Snorlax here. Whether we're going to see Flail or we're going to see a block come into play. I really like seeing Slowbro, but we haven't seen a lot of Leafeon. I'm curious, where's Leafeon's targets going to go? Are they going to be able to stand up and even catch? Because we know how fast Leafeon is. It's the same question. Are they going to be able to catch Gengar? Are they going to be able to catch Talonflame? And I'm a little concerned, but I think that's where the Volt Tackle comes in from the Pikachu food.
I do think the Leafeon is picked here just because of the early game is a bit lacking on the side of Absolute Circus, right? Especially the fact that we need to kind of help out this Beldum evolve the Metagross early on. And you're also going on the side of, three Pokemons that can just really do stuff at level 5. You've got the Ghastly that becomes a Haunter, you've got the Fletchling that comes into Fletchinder, and also your Machoke that can really, start displacing the enemies, as you mentioned. So, as you can see here, Jenga only needs one buff to hit that level 4, and if they can subdue the team that's Go Figure, they might have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, look, a nice aggression here. Fletchinder almost getting caught by the Electro Web, but there is Comfey to help it all out. Nice secure. Snorlax is very low. So his Bomb Path has to pop the eject button, but Fletchling gets caught out, almost gets out very quickly.
Yeah, they're able to get out there. 12-13 is going to be the scoreline. Jinga waiting for the teammates to come up. You can see that still a little bit of farm is needed before Beldum evolves to Matang. We're going to have a quick little soak up of these top birds there, Lobo. And I mean, I'm keen to see what move this Haunter is going to be playing. I didn't get to see it there. Did you see whether it's Dream Eater or Hex?
I think I only saw the Will-O-Wisp, if I'm completely honest with you. Those Altarias tend to disappear as quickly as they arrive. Acrobatics going in to secure that farm. Blissey getting a KO on the top path. And I think Metang getting that evolution early was quite good, because now, at least as a Metang, it can do something. It does get access to that Gyro Ball if that is the moveset that they're going to go for. Now, and they're able to do something. But we're heading on into these middle Altarias. We want to make sure, there's 2 members here and 3 members here for the side of Absolute Circus, 2 members here for the side of Go Figure, and it is Dream Eater food.
Yeah, I think both moves work really well here. We're going to have a contest for the Meter Burst there, but speaking of contests, we do have fighting all over the map, it seems. Viola might be the first one to go down there from the Dream Eater coming out from the Haunter, and, this is the problem we talked about before. If we have a Haunter that slowly gets these KOs, they get the reset on the Dream Eater, they get the stacks, Lobo, it's going to be incredibly hard, I think, for even a Leafeon to counter in. But, they are going to be proving me wrong, as we do have a nice KO onto that Talonflame.
Tragedy gets taken down, but Haunter acts in vengeance of its fallen teammate. Again, Gengar's already scary enough as it is, but going up against 4 members of the side of Absolute Circus, probably not something they want to do. Middle Altarias have spawned, Heavy Slam goes in, a Shadow Ball is going to try and secure much, but I think Absolute Circus is going to take the brunt of those Altarias. Gengar needs to get online, Machamp needs to get online, Metagross needs to get online. We're 7 minutes, objectives 5 seconds away for still a lot to play for in this game.
Yeah, and we also have a Safeguard Blissey as well, which means that there's not going to be enough healing, I think, to kind of counteract the damage that Shadow Ball and Dream Eater will do. You have Nightmare, and also Kai just making sure that this goes on their side, and yet again, the pressure up in that top path. They don't really care about what's happening in the bottom. It doesn't matter if Absolute Circus gets that Regirock, as long as they can break that top pad early, break the second top pad early, they might be able to do whatever they did in that early game, which is to get that score lead.
Kai is not returning to try and get some KOs, getting some stacks on himself, getting Gengar online as well. Flame Sweep comes in out of nowhere, hits the Volt Tackle as well. Gengar pops the Unite move, getting a KO as well. Heavy Slam trying to stop any kind of stacks going in, but Tragedy gets in. Emerald 2-step, hits its mark. Talonflame also getting some stacks in. Gengar trying to make its way out. Beautiful stun by Tragedy. Fly engage, but decides against it and comes back. Interesting fights going on in that basement path for with one bad missing, but that bottom part is left on 2 for the side of Absolute Circus.
Yeah, just a bit of a scuffle of a fight there, wasn't it? And speaking of a tough fight, this Talonflame trying to get away from the Volt Tackle, and you know what? What's worse than that is coming through the portal and going straight into the hands of your Volt Tackle Evil. Chaos Sugar 2 for this Pikachu, and they could not be happier.
That combination of block into the Volt Tackle. Talonflame could not do anything. Barrage Blow, however, on the top side goes down, but Metagross and Blissey say, I don't even feel it, but Gengar is here. Metagross gets submission. Now, the Bliss assistance onto the Metagross. This Metagross is going to be able to fight out and stay alive. Gets out scot-free. These scorelines are pretty even. Not too much fighting going around on this game. Remember, this is actually do or die for Absolute Circus, but if Go Figure win this, they take it home.
Yeah, they're one game away from that victory, isn't it? And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, not only are you going to be cementing your dominance in the region, but also getting the bragging rights and also 50 USD prize. You can see the damage and why I say that Gengar is one of the best Pokemon to pick up right now. That Leafeon had no clue what was happening, gets one shot. There's literally no counterplay. Another KO streak for this Gengar as they're going to be going through. I mean, Metagross can try their best to kind of keep themselves sustained and do some damage, but as long as this Gengar doesn't play too aggressive, oh, the Emerald 2-step is the only move that can one-shot that Pokemon.
And roll call gets happen as Hooper pops its Unite move as well. Gengar fell comfy. Unite move not able to help it sustain. Hooper goes down 2, and I don't think Talonflame can do anything here except fly and just stop these scores from coming in, but there are 5 members. Flame Sweep into the block, Foo! Oh my god! I haven't seen it yet, but it's always a sight to watch as Pikachu goes in with the Thunderstorm.
Wow, textbook block coming out from this Snorlax, and they get another pick. It's going to be your Jengar. This is an opportunity, perhaps, for Absolute Circus to come back into this game. I mean, they've gotten so much more XP now in the past few minutes, and with double level 12s on the board, Lobo, I mean, I'm keen to see whether they continue that fight there as the fly will come through. They knock out the Snorlax, but here comes Gengar. He's back from the graveyard.
Now, Ghost Pokemon probably lives in the graveyard, picking up a KO streak of 2, sending 2 more Pokemon from the side of Absolute Circus to visit Nurse Joy. And now I think Talonflame just wants to do what they do best, like we saw in the first game, trying to score, but Leafeon and Blissey not going to allow that. 3 minutes 20 on the clock. Scores are pretty even. 2 level 12s for the side of Go Figure, 2 level 12s for the side of Absolute Circus, but they're duking it out in this central area. Talonflame and Comfy get taken down, sent back to the Pokemon Center.
Yeah, back to say hi to Nurse Joy, and another Pokemon that might be doing that is going to be the Snorlax. Half HP from this Pokemon from one combo.
Oh, no.
I mean, just... Yeah, it's everyone's nightmare now, isn't it, this Pokemon? And I know I might have sounded crazy beforehand. I was preaching about why these teams aren't picking it, but finally, Kai has listened to me, and with a comfy wrapped around your neck as this Pokemon heads towards that level 14 region, what can Absolute Circus actually do to take this Pokemon down?
Look, I think it's going to be about what they did before. They have to isolate, because what I'm seeing from the side of Go Figure is that they are tending to go in one-on-one, but this is not a Ray fight, not just yet. It's not a 5v5 fight just yet. The only times that we're seeing Gengar really get taken down are when it is surrounded by the team members of Absolute Circus. So we need to isolate that Gengar. To do that, you're going to need the help from the block. You're going to need the help from the Volt Tackle. Really pour all of your effort onto really, I think the Gengar has to be the target, but you cannot deny Talonflame, who's also going to go for a score of 50, and I think they've seen it. Hooper can roll call them back in, but what is going to happen? And I think Absolute Circus are going to go for the rip straight away as they see Talonflame is so far away from the rest of the team.
Yeah, and I mean, it's scary to rip into a team with tragedy, right? Just this Pokemon just enacts so much mental stress. And speaking of mental stress, here comes a bit of Gengar stress. But the Gengar actually gets compounded into the Bliss Assistance. What a bait coming out from Absolute Circus. Hold up, I'm sitting up 3 members down for Go Figure. Maybe I've spoken a little bit too soon. And they only trade for the Pikachu there with the Leaf still available to fight this team out. I mean, Metagross is going to be 13. Quite hard of Pokemon to take down, but this is the opportunity for Absolute Circus to rip this Rayquaza. You can't afford another chance. You mean there's members coming back on the side of Go Figure, but there is not going to be another fight that you can win. This Rayquaza needs to go down. Why are we still chasing the team? Come on, Jingo, rip this Rayquaza and send us to a potential game number 4.
Game number 4 on the way. Gengar goes in, and oh my god, it is a secure by the Gengar. Absolute Circus did exactly oh my god, what you told them not to do. They were chasing instead of focusing on the Rayquaza food. But if it had to be anyone on the side of Go Figure, it had to be Gengar.
Yeah, that's actually correct. I mean, they had a huge engage there, and I think having a team that's drafted like that, that's really anti-speedster-ish, it's really about the one moment, right? And they got the moment that they wanted. They were able to knock out both speedsters. And really, if you think about it, no one else on the team can actually do enough damage to kind of stop the flip that's happening, right? I mean, Nightmare is a Machamp, but they're kind of that support role with that submission. And also your close combat as well. So, I mean, you heard me, right? I was like egging them on to take down the Rayquaza, but
you were praying. You were
just wasn't.
I heard just the desperation in your voice, pushing for Absolute Circus to send us to another game, a game 4, but they did not listen. I think maybe was it the tragedy effect? Just the potential with the Hooper secures that we've seen. Have they put a little bit of fear that they can secure Rayquaza away from anything because they've secured it with under more stress and pressure? But big shout out to Absolute Circus. They did a fantastic job in that Ray fight. We talked about Gengar being picked up first, but then getting caught with the Bliss Assistance and going down as well. Talonflame going down as well. It was the perfect opportunity. There was no Comfy. There was just a Hooper. There was just a Machamp. And again, it's at this point here, as soon as the Hooper goes into its normal form, they've just got to start ripping.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, they have, 5 members on the field there, and as soon as Gengar comes back, there's just no competition for this Pokemon. And even if Gengar didn't get it, the Talonflame was in the air with the fly as well. So, I mean, big shout out to Absolute Circus, though. I just looked at the bracket. They went down to Team Velixum in the semifinals, and they worked really hard to get the ticket back into the grand finals, even taking down their nemesis, which was going to be that Velixum in the losers round 4. But there's always going to be a bigger fish, Lobo, and Go Figure have proven themselves today. I mean, what a performance, sweeping through the winners bracket and not even losing a single game in the grand finals.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, I just want to have a look at also just the leader points that we saw. Velixum were the team that was sitting at the top of those leader points with 700 points. So they were one of the teams that were in form. But Go Figure just came out of absolutely nowhere. But let's not forget, Go Figure got invited by winning a weeklies tournament as well. So absolutely insane plays by them. Again, I think you called it. What did you say it was? Plot armor from Go Figure in those very first 2 sets that they were against Velixium with the Hooper steals, and then with that crazy point secure. So as we take a final look at the bracket, Fu, do you want to give us a complete wrap up of what we see from both losers and through the winners?
Yeah, I mean, just what I talked about before, right? 2 separate storylines from these teams that meet in the grand finals. And a lot of the time, it's going to be a team that has had it easy going through the top side versus a team that has really had to grind and hustle through the losers. And that's exactly what happened tonight. Absolute Circus, as you can see here, going down in round number 2, really had to plow through some very difficult teams, I think. Even defeating Velixum to go back in. We saw how close that game was as well. But Go Figure, absolute dominant performance today, and I think this will really build their confidence for the rest of the season.
I agree with you 100%. Such incredible teams. And I know we love crossing all across the oceans to get to watch all of these different regions. It's such a different vibe seeing how all of these regions and all these players have adapted to the new meta, to the new patch. We've seen Charizard, we saw Delphox, we've seen Tyranitar. India seems to really like their Tyranitars, and Tyranitar showed up as well, showing how powerful it can be. Before we head off and say our goodbyes, we have to say our thank you. So big thank you to Tins, who joined us from the EU region, swapping night and day when it comes to casting. Absolutely fantastic having him on. Thank you to my wonderful co-caster, Fu. It is always a pleasure to cast with you, my friend. And the fact that we get to cast together across so many different regions just makes this game of Unite so fantastically wonderful to watch. Big thank you to our tournament organizers, our admin, Zen. Thank you so much for helping us out from behind the scenes. Nala Gamer and Dragon, who are putting on the production and the observing that you guys are getting to watch. It is because of all the hard work of those guys behind the scenes that we are able to put this on for you guys. That is not all Engage has up for you on course. March 15th and 16th, we have the Unite Pro Test Series. Now, this is going to be teams from all over Asia competing and being invited to compete with $100 USD prize through. That is going to be an absolutely incredible watch over 2 days, just before the finals of the ACL take place. Now, before we say our goodbyes, do you have any final thoughts, questions, queries, anything you just want to throw out there into this wonderful universe that we are part of?
Yeah, I mean, for me, you already know this. I think everyone that has seen our work also has heard me say this. I'm a big fan of the India region just because it is one of those regions where whatever tournament it is, there's always going to be people showing up and, really competing it till the end. I think today is no different. Today's a celebration, right, of all these teams that have continued to play in the Engage events, coming in invited, and really maybe a sneak peek of what we can see in about 2 weeks' time for the protest series. And I truly hope you guys revisit us when we bring you guys that action. But I think for now, big shout out to Go Figure, mate. I mean, especially Tragedy. What an insane night that you've had, and I hope to see more of your gameplay very, very soon. But I think that's all from us here at Engage as well. We'll catch you guys next time. Thank you guys so much, and have a good morning, afternoon, or night. Bye-bye.